mean, I know the
What's that?
basic recap. I don't know how far back I need to go. Like, why are we in the Amber Temple? Do we
Looking for
know?
the sword, right?
Yes, one of the card readings from Madame Eva is included somewhere in the Amber Temple.
Yes.
At least,
And we might have our ally, the werewolf, but I don't think we're sure about that if she is the ally.
We're
how
pretty sure
often
I
are there
saw it.
assurances? I believe the Tome of Strahd is in play, though. Does somebody have that?
Mm-hmm. I think I do.
Uh, not the book. That is great.
Uh,
My fantasy grounds is being slow.
You do
I
have
thought
it.
Anthony, I think you might have the Tome of Strahd.
you have the Thomas Strahd?
Zezerin
I think
has it.
Anthony does.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a poetry anthology. I can tell poems to these ghosts, make them cry.
So the card that tells of history,
We
knowledge
had
of
we
the
had recently
ancient.
just gone through the library finding
Ooh,
stuff.
we barely started that. That is where we're gonna pick it up. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
I remember that. She's
Hmm
on the bearskin rug as we speak.
We bless you. Let me, Patrick's still connecting. So the world as the PCs know it is the map of Barovia, because leaving Barovia doesn't seem to be possible. Even though you guys haven't tried or focused on that in a while, there is this dark mist that surrounds Barovia that you haven't tested. You're not sure you want to mess with it. Instead, you decided to work at the problem from within, which is, destroying Strahd. That makes sense. Madame Eva threw out the cards that started to push you on your way, and those cards were one that showed you the location of the Tome of Strahd, a card that tells of history, knowledge of an ancient, that'll help you better understand your enemy, which Zezerin has. So we've covered that. I don't remember you paging through it all that much, but you do have it. Um, the next card was the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. That we haven't bumped into yet, but we believe that is where? Oh no, we did find that. It was in. Okay, I was thinking of the wrong. I was thinking of a wrong reading in my head.
We got that over by the monastery, right?
Yes, in the village of Krizek,
Mhm.
near Saint Marcobius Abbey. There was a Tesser pool where you found that after you dug up the gazebo. So the holy symbol of Ravenkind is in play. The tomb of Strahd is in play. Well, you guys are almost done. I mean, no, you're not even close. But
You might have the ally.
but the card of power and strength that tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight, has not been found. And
Isn't that why we're here in the Amber Temple?
I think so.
Yeah.
The treasure is hidden in a small castle beneath a mountain guarded by amber giants, was the riddle that came with it. But Rudolf von Richten, Dr. Rudolf von Richten, mentioned that he believes it's in the Amber Temple. And that's one of the reasons you guys are here today.
And he was the wizard that we found who was residing in the tower, correct?
Very close. He is actually a vampire hunter. If you wanted to look at his character sheet, it's like hunter slash cleric. He's a he's a
He
servant of the
was
Morning Lord. He is also a vampire hunter. He's kind of cross-classed in that regard. And he's
he was
old. He's
staying
an old
in
demon.
the wizard tower, right?
Yes, he took
That's
up
what it was.
residence in a old wizard's tower that had a
Because it
couple
has
of.
the little barrier of protection on it.
It does.
From Strahd.
And the name of that wizard that put that very protection up, I think, came up once or twice. I don't remember. I'd have to go and see if you guys know what it is. I don't know. We'll get there.
I know that we do, and I'm trying to think of the name.
Kazan? I think his name's like Kazan. That might come up again. And then an enemy of Strahd ended up being a werewolf. Whom you guys, there's been a werewolf tagging along for a while. I mean, she was a innocent, tortured young little girl that got bit by a werewolf while in your tender care. But since then,
She
she's
has
eaten
managed
an
to like
angel
get
and
down with
had
the
seen the
president.
light.
No, ate the light.
She ate a corrupted angel and ingested the light. Yeah.
Corrupted angel.
Things happen. Yeah, it was weird.
So is that like the werewolf version of like doing a little detox juice cleanse?
That's how
Oh,
yeah.
More like a power up.
Ah, okay.
like she like rang out the evil a little bit with that, maybe balanced out on it. She hasn't gone around. She hasn't gone on a killing spree, so that's been working in your favor.
Yay.
And
Then she
so
Wrong.
if and when the Sun Sword card is claimed, the only card left is where you will find Strahd when you're ready to face him. I'm not suggesting we're there. I'm just that's what's going on. So you guys started climbing Mount Gaiax up past the Telsinka Pass and towards the Amber Temple, where it got colder and colder and frigid. You guys are wearing your cold gear though, so you're not worried about that too much. And then I had a chance to look. You guys came in through the entrance, came over the balcony, and charged right into the temple lower level. Yeah, where you were then bombarded by all sorts of traps and flaming skulls that were protecting things. Then ran into a room where a couple other adventurers had died, but strange turn of events. Magnus talked them into joining the party because they'd rather loot the Amber Temple than fight the new PCs.
yes.
I remember that. Not only when I was watching, I was like, "Oh yeah, that was awesome." Two of which have already perished, but the other two are still with you. We have the. Okay, man. Here we go. One of them disappear on me.
The rogue and the fighter.
Yeah, the fighter poltergeist veteran and the rogue poltergeist survivor. Oh, there's the other one. I have a cat trying to climb in a tree. Come here. You don't fit in that tree.
Oh, that's right.
You don't
There's
fit.
your Opie lookalike.
You don't fit in the tree. Stop climbing in it.
No, why don't you climb trees? They're cats. That's what they do.
Who else is with the party? I still don't see Moss's character ready to go.
Yeah, I'm struggling here with Fantasy Ground still.
Yeah.
Keeps crashing and stuff like that.
I was like, why can't I move the... Oh, Pat's coming on and off again. Got it.
Oh, this time looks promising.
Ruh-roh.
Right, I should be in.
Then I'll wait till I see your character pop up, and then I'll start sharing the map. What else happened? In a mad rush to find somewhere safe, Magnus was going along the wall, but he's got that real high passive perception, so he instantly started noticing some secret doors, one of which was in the large statue in the middle of the floor, the base lower level, and the other was up against the wall. Running up into the statue, he found a small room where there was a guy hanging out,
Remember that?
and Henrich Stallat is currently wandering with the party. He was very
Yeah.
happy for you to show up because you saved him. Or at least that's the story. And the other secret door went to a abandoned staircase that no one has touched for a while. And as it opened up to a big library. And even though the furniture in this library is regal, it's the kind of stuff that you'd find in the library of a great castle or a very important politician. All of that beauty is kind of like wiped away with the whole layer of dust and the complete unkemptness going on here. Just time. Not like there's things all over the place. It's organized. It's just been left alone for centuries.
What good's a vampire without a good servant? I'm just saying.
Right?
It does. They got allergies, you know. Vampires.
Looks around. Igor, you missed a spot.
And then, Chris, when you're ready to get them out, please.
Igor, yes, master, teach your other feather dust.
Didn't you get Igor, but Igor get you?
Is there a spot on the map that... There we go. Keep trying to home in on that. Like I thought there was something there. But mere moments into walking into the preserve library, as all the little candelabras started to light up, and there was just a light flickering of light in the room, you guys homed in on each one of the bookcases. And then, of course, to the north of this room is this large circular staircase going down into currently darkness. There's no light down there. But over here there was a secret door, and out came a decrepit skeleton who started talking to you guys. Some of you followed him into his own personal room. Some of you stayed into the preserved library.
He was very confused. He wasn't sure why he was here or how he had
And they
got
were trying to help him remember. That I remember.
Yep.
while secretly rifling through his things for anything important or interesting.
Which you only started to find a couple of things standing out.
Right.
And the adventurers / poltergeists are also starting to like try to loot a little bit here and there. They forgot that they're dead, that kind of thing.
Trying to carry big bags of gold, but like,
Yes,
tink.
I believe the promise was they could take whatever they can carry as they help you guys, and they can't really carry much because they're dead. But that we'll see how that plays out. So that is where we left off. And if anything comes up that we forgot along the way, I'll just throw it in, because I realize that wasn't the best.
We messing with the dead. Do
We
we
have
let them know they're dead?
Always.
We have a side quest.
Ooh, tell me all about it.
We found. Well, yeah, there was this huge silver dragon that was an apparition, and he needs his skull back, and we need to return it to a crypt so it can
That's
shine
where I got confused with
there forever.
Okay. I'm familiar with the side quest. Do you know where the skull is? I don't remember if I dropped that.
I don't think we were told.
It's in the Mad Mage Forest.
No, isn't it in the tomb of Strahd? Isn't it at his castle?
It's in the castle, yes.
Yeah.
Where exactly? Nah, I don't think you know.
It was in the crypts in the bottom right, kind of where. Oh, no, that's where wasn't someone who Vezra knew was down there?
I don't know.
It is the skull of Jargen Vosholt is below the main floor. There are more than one level below the main floor, and it is there. It is below the main floor. In the crypts, I think we'll find a few things, including Zezarin's mother. That's been
Whoa.
pla-
Okay,
that's
so I
been
kind of
placed
combined
out.
a few things
I'm
together
gonna
there.
get a cup of coffee real quick.
But we haven't been to Castle Ravenloft yet.
Nope, he's just visited
It's like
us.
you guys are powering up first.
Us to leave.
Now, is there any like quick XP grinds or some loot farms we can do real quick? Like,
Well, they're not quick, but they exist.
They're quick in game terms, I bet.
This is one of them. This is a good place to get extra power. I don't know if. Well, we'll talk. We'll see what happens.
We spend 3 hours here, but it actually takes 6 months. I gotcha.
Actually, we'll see how it goes. Because that's a library, and most people take a second when they find a library. So your characters might be here for as long as your players weren't playing. I wasn't sure how that's going to play out. But at the moment, Zezarin had just walked in, and the only thing that really caught his eye was a spell book sitting on this desk. And it was like Moss and... Wow, Steve. I highlight over your character and I get the whole name. Servant Gabriel, Defender of the Church of Barovia, Protector of the Children, Purifier of the Winery, Slayer of the Corrupt Angels, Owner of the Book.
The look.
Oh, the look.
The look that gets your head cut off.
That's the one.
your title looks like it's a.
I was like, that's okay.
Like
Moss,
a shady
Zezarin,
drag
and
for
wow.
It's just a big
Yep.
block.
Servant Gabriel, owner of the alphabet.
That would be a 12-word acronym. Like what the hell? I mean, yeah. And there's a disrupting skeleton kind of wandering in the room, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. It is warmer in the preserved library, because the books need to be a certain temperature, so temperatures in there is okay. But as you step back into this room of the disrupted skeleton, you feel the colder, like the other rooms again. You just begin to see your breath. Now, when you were on the main floor down here, besides when the fireballs went off, you saw all sorts of hair. You were almost at like 0 degrees Fahrenheit down there. So the warm clothes are important. The ghosts don't seem to mind. Casimir doesn't seem to mind either about the cold. Stella's, chilly. She puts her hood up. Being a werewolf does not protect her from the cold.
She's got fur though.
If she hybrids, she'll have fur. She'll still know it's cold though. And I think that's where I'm ready to pick up. There's no kind of combat or initiative happening. We're just gonna bring up the dialogue, possibly with the skeleton, or maybe what do you guys want to do in the library?
I'd like to do an investigation check.
All right.
take a look around within the library,
Okay.
pick some stuff up, look at it, that kind of thing.
Natural 20. You don't know where to start. Like, you actually just wander a little bit this way as you begin to home in on everything. Um, there are there are interesting stones on this dresser over here. You suspect that each one is magical in its own way. There's a stone over here. There's 3 scrolls sticking out over here. There's a bunch of papers and stuff, but 3 of those are just scrolls, like magic scrolls. And then, of course, Zezerin is already heading for it and will beat you to the large tome of spells that is sitting on this desk over here.
Am I cursed with something?
What happened?
Am I cursed with something?
I don't think so.
Because
Would you
my
like to be?
my intelligence regular abilities is a +0, but my saves is a -1.
Huh.
I don't remember that being a thing.
That looks like somebody accidentally spun the mouse wheel in that spot.
Okay.
I am unfamiliar with something that would cause that.
I don't remember there being
Yeah, I was
something.
gonna say there's nothing on his combat tracker in terms of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That looks like somebody accidentally held down control and spun the mouse wheel. Just on top of that. We're just going to let that go unless we really remember that. I'm not going to worry about that. Thank you for noticing that. That would have been weird. So, no, I don't think so. But even a sorcerer knows a huge spellbook when he sees one.
And I definitely take a gander,
The,
as if I were Ander.
let's see what you did there. The front page, the Incants of Exithantar is the name of the book. And as you begin to rifle through it, you recognize some spells, especially spells you know. So I'm going to take a quick peek at your character sheet. Looking for your first levels. Magic Missile jumps out. Detect Magic jumps out. So you realize you're looking at spells. But as you go further in, you see spells that take up 8 pages, 9 pages of information and detail, and you realize that these are spells beyond. Some of these spells, especially towards the back of the book, are beyond your level.
Into the bag of holding.
Oh, you did what? Okay.
No. We don't just throw things in the
You're
bag
not
of
in the
holding.
room.
Not even a normal bag of holding either. It's a meaty one.
Are you forgetting our party?
It sounds like a great idea.
Fucking kids!
Freaking kids!
He's standing right here.
Is he playing Moss right now?
That he did it, man. We have to learn consequences in this
Right?
party.
Oh my God, my actions affect other people.
No, not into the bag of holding. Guy is right. Anthony is now looking at the map, realizing who's in the room. Getting back in.
He's standing right here.
Is he looking at me?
Yes.
Okay, no bag of holding.
He's on our side. Why are we? Slightly.
Okay, that was my thought process. Bag of holding?
Why?
He actually heads over to here and he goes to pick something up on the ground, and it's another stone. It looks kind of similar to the stones that are sitting on the desk next to Moss, and he goes to put it on his head and it just falls to the ground. And he goes down, he picks it up, he smacks it to his head again, and it falls to the ground.
Ooh.
Sorry?
Little skeleton.
The currently named Decrepit Skeleton is trying to pick a stone. It's a really fine stone, like it's finished. It looks really cool. And he goes to knock it on his head, and it just falls to the ground. Like it doesn't understand. And I'm gonna get into his voice and all that. I know this is supposed to work. He drops it and he goes to pick it up.
Somebody with flesh on their body. Want to try that?
I hear the stone drop a couple times, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Then
Looks
why
like you're trying to merge with that gem you got there.
Now, as you look over on the table, you see other stones that are similar but different colors.
I grab one in front of me and smack it on my forehead.
Oh my God! roll a d4. There's 4 of them.
Good trap.
I didn't get your result. Roll a d4.
It didn't show the result. I don't know why.
Try again.
What's up for two?
It didn't show it again.
This time I didn't even see the shadow go by. You're about to disconnect. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Now
no,
they're
I
all
didn't
now
show
they're
it.
all there. I don't know which one to use.
Can I have the first one?
Can I have the first one? Sure.
Are these ion stones?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So this one's pink, and
Oh,
as
that's
soon
the
as
best
it
color.
and as soon as it starts to orbit around your head, and he goes like that. That's what it's supposed to do.
See, I got it. Here, Vezran, you try. And I hand him a stone.
Color is the stone.
There's a stone orbiting his head right now. Are you sure? This is the same guy we saw with the head chopped off in another part of this thing. Just saying. You never know.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I know what these are?
Sure can.
Boring.
Can I make it with guidance?
Yes, if you want to take a little while. It depends on how quickly Zezeran's going to move. Keep in mind, Zezeran, your hands are currently on this huge tome. Do you walk away
Yes.
from the tome? Okay.
I'm going to do it with guidance.
Yes, you believe that these are Ioun stones, and you haven't been able to tell how many there are.
There's a lot of stones, though, aren't there?
You can make a perception check, but that's going to be another round.
That's all right.
I mean, you could probably ask me. I saw the stones. I'd
There-
probably know.
Moss, you saw 3 more stones on that table.
Besides one that I put in my head,
Yeah.
or including that one. Okay. There's
Besides
2
the
more.
one you put on your
Gabriel.
head. Sorry?
Can I summon Ander? Because this is basically a porn shop for him.
Did I
Expense
purposely
tools for
put
him.
stuff here that other me?
No,
No.
You're
no.
not wrong. I know.
Gabriel's like,
I'm just getting started with that. Just get a theme. Yeah, Moss, there are 3 other stones. All 3 of them seem made of the similar and look magical. Trying
And
to
then
catch
plus
their...
the one that the skeleton's trying to cram into his head, right?
Oh yeah, that one too. So he's holding that one though.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna try to rip it from his hand
He
yet.
keeps dropping it, but then he goes to pick it up. Excuse me.
Okay, there's 3 from Gabriel on the table.
I missed what you just said.
I was just letting Gabriel know there was 3 crystals on the table.
Okay. I thought you were picking one up and handing it to Moss. I mean to Zezeran. That's where I got confused.
I mean, my hand's still out there like this. I'm waiting for him to grab it.
Oh, okay, so you picked one up.
I'm
There's 2 on the table, yeah.
Okay.
confused by what's going on, and I just return to my book and say, "Kids, man."
I just slap it down right next to him.
Wow. That's our word. You can't use it.
well, no, what these are, I say to him, are you comfortable with us playing or
Rummaging through your thing.
Playing.
utilizing some of your items here?
Just put them back when you're done.
Okay.
You hear that, Moss? And I return to my book.
So I say to Moss, do you feel different in any way?
I feel like they definitely got a nice aesthetic going with this crystal. Not sure what it's actually doing to me though, besides the
Feel
look.
smarter? Do you feel more charismatic?
Got a couple
Do you-
questions first. Moss, are you how many attunement slots you got left, if any?
I think I might be tapped up on that.
That's what
Wait a
I was
second.
thinking. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and you gave me 4 with like a little loophole you gave me where you combined the defense bracers and the helmet into one because they kind of
Okay,
like
so that's
merge
still
together.
you have 3. I just combined an item
Yep.
quick. Okay. So you're already attuned to a lot. It's spinning around your head, but you don't feel anything. You don't even feel it charging or anything like that.
So I can get rid of like
Unless
the
you really
Parasite of
want
Wound
to,
Closure or Baba's book.
Zezeran, you can make an Arcana check, and let's see what's going on in the library.
What am I making the check on?
You're looking at a giant tome of spells.
It's a book.
You realize that all the spells in this book seem to be written by the same hand, but the higher level spells, that it's a little more delicate. It's a little whatever the penmanship was used. It was just a little. Obviously, the person was either older or just being more careful and wiser. But it's the same hand. It's the same hand.
So I take out the spyglass and I really start examining the handwriting. Do I recognize this handwriting from anything that I've read?
No, but you see duplicates of it throughout the room.
Okay.
Especially if you look over here and you see some random papers and such. You see the handwriting in other places in the same room. So.
Um, Before you move it back to the library, can I really quick use the cantrip message to send a message to Magnus?
Sure.
Just basically saying, there's a lot of powerful stuff in this room. At some point, you may want to come check it out.
Okay, we'll use that as a time anchor, and we're going to go back just a little bit and say, okay, what's going on in the preserved library?
I'd like to unattune to the preempt of wound closure if possible.
We'll get back to it.
Okay.
Magnus?
I'm searching for in here for anything to do with Strahd or Legend of the Sword or anything like that. That's what I was doing before, I believe. And telling anybody that was in our charge, so to speak, to do the same, or that would listen.
Okay, throw a charisma persuasion check.
I can attempt that. Let's see. Just where's that? Let's go. 13?
That works. Most of the bookcases are 8 feet off the ground before the bottom of them, and then they go up. So some kind of magical means was used to get these books out and in the shelves. But the poltergeists are willing to do it.
I was gonna say I got floating poltergeist guys. Let's knock the book off.
And one of them's able to find a book on swords and floats it down to you. The title clearly says the name of a couple swords you're familiar with, but as you open the book, there is no writing on the pages.
Oh. No writing. I grab a random book off in front of me.
There are a couple of books on the tables, but the rest of them are on the shelves, and the shelves are 8 feet up there. So.
Okay. Okay. Random books on the table. So I flip open one of the books on the table.
Same problem. There's no writing on the pages.
Gabriel.
And at that point, Henrik here has noticed the same thing, and I'm just letting him make a quick Arcana check here. He mentions that there's got to be a word or some kind of a way to access all this knowledge. There's got to be a way, but he's just walking in circles at that point. And that's when you hear Gabriel mention there's powerful stuff in here in a whisper, as you scream, Gabriel, on the other side. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Books. They got no words. I need words in books. The files are in the computer. It's first century. There's no words in the books, gang. There's no words in the books.
Moss, tuning to an item takes an hour.
Yep.
You're welcome to start that process. That's a conscious thing real quick. Yep.
Yep. So I'll unattune to the wound closure necklace, and then I'll start attuning to the.
How many stones does he have floating around his head now?
He only has
Just
one.
one stone.
You should do them all.
What's cool is I actually don't know anything about these, which it seems like you guys do. So I'm kind of going in this blind.
You could
I have no
ask.
idea what's happening.
I mean, I did say to
Wait a
you.
minute, you can see? I didn't know you could see.
Well, Moss, because I did ask you. I said, "Are you feeling, any different, wise, those types of things?" So it's that I kind of have an understanding of what.
Yeah.
So maybe you could just ask.
I wasn't sure that was like meta knowledge or not.
You
Yeah.
can
So
ask.
like, what do you know about these, Gabriel?
So ion stones tend to be incredibly powerful magic items. They can enhance your abilities. Usually they don't cause any harm, but generally they're all really positive. You have to, connect to them and attune to them. But depending on the color, they usually have different properties and powers.
Does it usually associate with like a different attribute of myself, like whether physically strong I am or how mentally strong I am, things
Yeah,
like that.
enhance your prime skills or give I think some of them give resistance to things, but primarily they're skill boosts, right, Chris? If I'm remembering them correctly?
You're right. And unless it's like lore that is really going to upset the game, I'm good with players and characters. You know, they're kind of this. I don't worry about the metagaming as much. I want people to be able to play the damn game. that's not.
Understand and play comfortably.
To know what they were, and I did immediately ask him, "Are you feeling different?" So
Yeah.
he might. No.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Yeah.
Are you feeling different?
He was
like
current. He hasn't
some
had a chance to
magic
attune
drugs
to
or
it
something?
yet.
You heard me say that too. So if you want to try one on, what the ion stones are?
Do you know which one does what?
I don't know that my rolled high enough for that.
No, you'd have to make some kind of identify ritual, or you could ask somebody that knows. But apparently, he's not doing so hot in the brain capacity area right now.
And I mean, like if this gem gives me strength and something that I don't feel I need, I could also give it to one of you guys. Oh, I'm disconnecting.
Are there any anything like a book or anything that might tell us what the ion stones do that are up here?
There's a library in the other room.
Do you know offhand where a book on ion stones might be?
You just ask the hands to bring you a book.
The hands, you say?
Yeah.
Are those the poltergeist?
What's a
No.
poltergeist?
Do we simply say, "Hands, please find me this book"?
No, you use the command word to activate the library.
What's the command word?
I don't know.
Oh dear.
Now, is it the words I don't know or do you not know?
No. And he tries to put the stone on his head again. It falls.
Do you know what that stone does?
No, but this is my favorite stone. Nothing happens. He shakes it. Something's wrong with me. And he starts to walk in a counterclockwise motion, and it's going to be like a few minutes before he finishes it. And when he does, he goes, "That usually works." And nothing happens.
My fun stuff.
So you can make like a medicine check if you wanted to, or you might have already figured it out.
Is it not working because he's dead or because he's cursed?
But the stone? No, it's not that. Just he's got some serious amnesia going on or something.
Mm.
That's something that you could do with greater restoration. Vic.
It absolutely is.
Just wondering if I want to.
That is also
Damn
a
good question.
yeah, good. Not to metagame it.
Yeah, right
No,
now he's
A
please.
little bit smarter
I'm
than the average
begging
puppy.
you. It's okay to a level of metagaming is all right in Dungeons and Dragons. Just don't break
No,
the
I
game.
got you. I'm not saying not to do it. I'm
Okay.
saying every precaution before doing it if you can,
yeah.
because this is where shit gets really bad really quick. If
Yeah.
Watch him turn into a big bad guy and you had to fight him.
it's an undead guy who could probably do us some serious
Yeah, I mean,
damage.
this is his crib, and it's filled with all this shit. I really don't want him remembering he's evil and mean and doesn't like us.
Right, that's what I'm all about.
Then I'll charm him or something if things
Right
go
now
bad.
we got a library card, and I'd like to check out a couple books if I can figure out where the words went. I'm looking through all the pages. I'm looking to the last page to see if all the words fell down. Like, I don't know.
Flip it upside down, shake it, see if some words fall out.
Expecting little words to run off all fancy stuff.
One loose stone I want to touch base on. Zezerin, you've had some time to look at these incants now. Anything in particular here caught your interest?
Disintegrate.
You don't say. I don't think you can cast 6th level quite yet.
No
can you?
more disintegration. Oh wait, vampire disintegration. Good.
So These spells won't work like scrolls. The magic isn't already infused in them. You can't just read them. You'd have to actually learn the spell. Now, you as a sorcerer don't add it to your spellbook. This will just be like one of the spells you could learn. Unfortunately, you can't cast it that high of a level.
Right.
And you know it. So as you're trying to read it, some of it's over your head, and you're well aware of it.
All right.
Big words.
Mind sharing that with me again? The book.
Oh, sure.
And then, Chris, could I walk over to the scrolls and take a look at those?
Yes, you'll have some time during that hour of that thing zooming around your head to go look at the scrolls. They're easy to figure out just by looking at them. They're marked well. And he goes, "That's the stone shelf? No, it doesn't.
How do you read books?
You're welcome to enter the library at any time and ask him because it's been like a half
Yes,
hour, 45
I'm
minutes. Go ahead.
walking with the book open with the no words on it. I'm going, how do you read books?
What languages do you know? While that's happening, Moss, you
Common?
realize the 3 scrolls over there, in the one area is the Scroll of Greater Restoration, a Scroll of Greater Invisibility, and a Scroll of Greater Demon, or Summon Greater Demon.
Yes, to all.
So you walk in and he mentions, what languages do you speak?
Elf and common.
Elf in Common. Huh. And that's all he says.
So,
Words. How do I get words?
Words.
In the books. How do I make words in the books?
You have to activate the library
How do I activate the library?
with the command word.
Where's that?
He make a perception check.
I do.
He unknowingly looks in Zezarin's direction. Zezarin doesn't notice. His head's in a book. And then he looks around the room a little counterclockwise and then seems to forget what he was doing and then looks to Gabriel and goes, I don't know.
Hmm.
But for a moment, he looked in Zezarin's direction. And you think that mattered. Like, that was the subconscious instinct of being correct. You know what I mean? Like, your first answer is right.
Okay.
say my name, say my name.
I used the cantrip message again to relay that information to Zezran.
It was Magnus that saw it. You didn't.
I'm sorry, to Magnus. I'm sorry.
Magnus is the one
Then
that figured it
I
out.
go over to Zezrin and go and tell him verbally.
Hmm.
I need to.
He looked at me.
Yes. Magnus realized that the skeleton looked in Zezarin's direction just before he lost.
I say that to him.
Oh,
like
right.
he,
I'm on board. I'm with you.
and then I just look at the tome and I say the incans of except. How do you say this word? Excethenar.
You're doing great.
He says the word properly.
Does he know? Exithanter.
Except
When you pronounce his name, the lights in the room brighten, and the layer of dust that's on the bed and on the desk and just kind of wisps away. And it goes in the direction that he's been walking in. But that's it. Like, super cantrip time is over, and there you go.
Look
So-
at the book.
A spell that I was honing in on was mirror image.
Okay. In time, you can, like, if you guys are in here for a couple hours or whatever, we can add mirror image to your spell list. Like a +1. But if you try to leave the room with the book, let me know so I can kill you. Magnus, you're even with your Arcana, you're like, okay, I need to be in the library. Right now you're not. With the book
Okay.
and the command word, you can put it all together.
All right. I do the command word. I walk back into the library. I sit on the chair.
As you say the name, which Exithantar, I know it's close. I'm like remembering how to really pronounce it, and we're close. Anyways, when you say the name, a number of mage hands begin to form and move around, and the words begin to show up on the book that you are currently holding. And yeah, information on swords and better ways to use them, stats, statistics, interesting ideas on movement. Um, there's all sorts of melee combat leadership inspiration going on in this book that you're looking at. Some kind of a discipline that was for a certain people a while back that I'm not even going to make up at this point. But
Okay.
that's when that's when I haven't gone to bed yet is going to show. like so you've got that book could keep you busy for a while if you let it. And upon hearing that name, Hendrik here says the same name and directs one of the mage hands to bring him a book, and he's happy. Like it doesn't take long for him to figure that out. I don't know if she's gonna care. She kind of. Ooh, that's an 18. All right, so Stella does something similar, and then Casimir does, and before you know it, everybody in
Okay,
the
I got
library
it.
got their nose in a book.
All right, now I got to do this because I'm Magnus. I'm going to uh, check out each book that I can see that they're looking at.
Okay, throw a perception check, and we'll get to that.
All right.
Oh, I heard a cat. And the other room. Okay. Moss, it doesn't take long to see what these scrolls are. So they're
You
sitting
said
there.
it was
Unless
Greater Invis, Greater Restoration, and Summon Demon, right?
yes, so, scroll of greater restoration, greater invisibility, and greater demon. Sub and greater demon. So the word greater is in all of them, and you get the theme. It's not complicated.
Can we summon Strahd with that?
So Gabriel, that kind of leaves you. Everybody else is currently got their nose in knowledge or very distracted with power or something, and I'm not sure what Gabriel's doing.
No, I'm still trying to kind of figure out who this guy is.
Make a religion check.
Right.
First, you realize that his name is on the book. His name's been spoken.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm trying to kind of figure out why his memory might be gone.
I just wanted to make sure we had that brick in place. Like we're good there.
Can I do this one with guidance?
Absolutely, you got all the time in the world.
There we go.
Excellent. So the more you look at him, the more you realize he's a spellcaster. He's very old. He's undead. He's really hitting all the keys to a lich.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been somehow he's lost his way, and when something that lives forever begins to stop paying attention or caring or lets time slip by, their mind starts to go with it. You believe that he has just been alive or existing for so long in this place that he's almost become a part of it. His brain started to turn into mush. But nothing a greater restoration wouldn't fix.
Okay.
At this point, am I kind of aware of what Gabriel's doing?
I don't know. Do you not want to pay attention to these scrolls or this stone?
I was gonna let Gabriel know that I had a Greater Restoration in case he was vocal about
Oh, yeah, you can go
wanting
ahead.
to use it.
Yeah. You don't know exactly what's going through Gabriel's head, but you can maybe put it together just by looking at him.
So my other question with this is, in his current state, if we were to fight him, do I get a sense that he would have full capacity of his powers?
Oh no, he is definitely in a weaker state in this condition. You haven't seen him even try to cast a spell, nor has he attempted to protect any of the items in this room.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to get some alone time with Magnus at some point here.
You're gonna find that complicated. Once you come through this secret room and back into the library, you realize that this is a dead quiet library, and everyone has their nose in a book. Like they're not looking up. There's just
Yeah.
you.
Is this the curse?
As a matter of fact, you can throw an Arcana check as you look at this particular situation. Even the poltergeists are like nose down.
Oh no, I know nothing.
It looks like they're studying very well. You think maybe off chance this library has some kind of an enchantment where if people are reading what they want to read, they're going to really absorb the knowledge, but they have to pay attention or something. There could
Hmm.
be something going on with that.
Knowledge is a curse.
And then you see a bright blue flash come down from down here. Gabriel.
Okay. I focus my attention over there.
Um so this is a railing and you can look down into the rooms below. And
Okay.
as you look around the room, you realize nobody even looked up from their book to see it.
All right. I look over.
Okay.
What's the blue flash?
There's a little bit of light down there, and then it reflects off of the amber walls that head down. But for the most part, it's not. It doesn't even qualify as low light. There's just sprinkles of light across the amber cylinder that makes up this area, besides the stairs of onyx that go down around it. You can add light to the situation, or can you see in the dark? I don't remember.
I have Saint's Sight.
Oh, you can
I
see in the
normally
dark.
both magical and non-magical to 120 feet.
You have dark vision because you're a servant of. Okay, I remember now. Oh yeah, so you see the golden marble. Sorry, I thought it was on my bad. The golden marble staircase with black marble railing. My memory's gonna be. I'm gonna be okay. It hugs the north wall as it spirals gently down 30 feet into the shaft. And lying in the middle of the room are 6 rotten wooden crates.
Hmm.
The amber-covered walls are sculpted. There are like tentacles on them, and they all head towards this large picture in the back area that you can't really see detail of because it's under the stair a little bit. You'd have to be down there for that. There is a light level of mist or dust on the floor right now because you think movement just happened down there, and
Okay.
one of the crates settles. Like it was still sitting a little bit on its side, and it just kind of, and then gets into its spot. You don't see any evidence of the blue light that you saw a moment ago. Without an Arcana check, do you think some kind of conjuration, magic, teleportation thing might have just happened?
All right. So now I'm sensing a trap. These guys are kind of possessed. I'm gonna message Bezarin to
Okay.
join the staircase whenever he's available, whenever he's able.
Oh. Okay.
And Moss, you're clear to do whatever you'd like to do as well. I just want to know what you did with the scrolls.
I'm gonna throw them in my backpack for now.
Okay. Zezarin, do you have any kind of dark vision?
What?
Do you have any kind of dark vision?
Oh yeah. I have natural dark vision. 60 feet.
Okay, so you see similar to what's going on down there. Moss, as you head for the secret door, it closes before you get to it. And he goes, "Don't forget to put your toys back."
Huh.
Yeah, I set the tome down.
I know.
Using my helm of telepathy.
Okay.
We're just gonna put the thought into his mind that don't worry, buddy, I am gonna put these back. I just need to go take these for a second. Don't worry.
Okay. So that's a saving throw on his behalf, right? He's got to make a save.
I would probably consider that the suggestion, right? So that would be DC 14.
Oh, if you
wisdom.
just say it, nothing happens. You gotta try to magically change his mind at that point.
Hmm?
What's that?
One more time.
Yes, you have to try to magically coerce him. He's not without magic. He's not gonna.
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
what I'm
bother.
saying. It'd probably be the suggestion with the helm of telepathy. So it'd be a DC 14.
What kind of save is that? Wisdom.
Wisdom. Yes.
Oh,
You weren't supposed to roll that high.
Sorry. And he goes, "Are you trying to take those?"
No.
We need to borrow these.
And as I'm
Okay.
saying no, I just start knocking louder and louder on the door behind me.
Okay.
A lot of solid stone.
Yeah, that's solid stone, and that's solid stone, and okay.
I mean, I'll do it with like a weapon, just so it's making some noise. Like I have my scimitar on it.
Magnus, you can make a perception check with disadvantage. You're still focusing. Actually, I'm gonna have Stella make.
Oh, perception always has advantage with me.
Sorry,
I think perception always has advantage with me.
I said disadvantage. So yours
Oh,
will. Ooh, that's a natural 20 though. I'll take it. You hear Moss. You hear something on the stone over here. Now this part of the secret door is open, and then this is an opening, and then you think you hear someone pounding on what you realize is now a closed door to the other room. And so that's what you hear. And what do you do? Even Stella missed it.
Stella loves saving me. That's like her job.
She's a little focused right now. It's a very alluring book, and you're sure that if you lose your place, something could go wrong, or it'll take longer to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of pick a fighter style or feat in the player's handbook was just sinking in there, and if you stop, you might lose it. What do you do?
Sammy. It's pretty good.
Magnus?
It's taken him a minute to.
My guess is you went back to the book. It sounds like you might.
Yep.
He went back to, like that quiet is because his nose went back into the book. Okay, so he's ignoring you.
All right, so do I thunder wave the door?
That's a good question. You could roll initiative.
Oh.
I think you should roll initiative at this point. So
You think so, Chris?
I do.
Room with
You
the
think it's
light.
initiative time?
It feels like it's time for you to roll initiative. Yeah. I'm not sure what happens next, but knowing whose turn it is might be necessary.
Do we all roll, or is this just the two of them?
Well, you're welcome to get into the fun. Because you guys are just looking over the banister. You're not magically looking into a book or anything. So it will just be another 6 seconds till you know that there's something wrong, which is one of the reasons I wanted to see initiative. There's the that's here's Moss. Okay, we got some. There we go. Why are you at -1 on your initiative?
Because of my dexterity.
Just sucks. I have some good news. Where's
Decrepit skeleton rolled an 8. Oh, but Moss rolled a 5.
This is the good news, maybe. Bing. That begins to take hold.
Oh wow!
So I'll just temporary hit points that for now. I don't know how much this is gonna last. But as your constitution suddenly jumps from 12 to 14, you gain 2 hit points per level for a total of 16 hit points. As that thing just zoops around your head just a little slower now because it's attuned and it's connected. But it is being careful not to hit the stone wall that you're next to, because so your new almost stolen magic item kicks in.
Orbiting rocks. Of course, it's a druid. Druids are weird. I like it.
And yeah, Gabriel, we'll start there. You realize, yeah.
I hear the frantic pounding.
Is it frantic at this point?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Well, I nudge Vezran and I say, I think Moss is in trouble. He's in the room alone with the Lich. And
Lich?
to the door to try to get in.
Nah, that's just the stone falling. He's trying to put it on his forehead still.
No, listen.
Oh,
Am I able to get in, or is it magically
You're good. This is already open, and if you head over to here, you'll be able to open it.
Okay. I get over there and open the door.
Okay.
And Moss is in the way.
Slams
Get open the door.
right next to the door. Little vase, where that is.
I have a cat that needs to come in right away. I'll be right back. Really?
So in a sneaky way, Moss, I'm glad you're starting this fight because if we kill him, we get all his stuff. So.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I would kind of want the rest of these stones. Like they seem like they're gonna be pretty nice to have.
If we live, I mean, I don't know how this is gonna all play out.
I mean, we could try to just steal the gems and close them back in here.
I could put his soul in the bag of holding.
Zezerin, what would you like to do?
I'm looking over the banister. I'm looking where Gabriel just walked off to, and I think to myself, oh, there's a room over there. 5, 10, 15. Oh, moss. 20. And I sit here. And I
You were
say,
in that room.
what's up?
You were in there. That was the room you were in. You forget about it?
What?
You said, "Oh, there's a room here." You were just in that room.
Moss, move out of the way so we can get in.
Everyone,
It's
please,
not my initiative.
please remember to put the toys back. And his hand's starting to change colors. There's a little bit of there's a dark blue forming on his spell hand. I don't know if it matters.
Put the toys back. Moss!
You have
What did you-
counterspell. Do you have counterspell?
But he doesn't cast at all this turn. Moss, it's your turn.
I think I'd like to try to charm the guy. Oh, no, I don't. I'm going to make hallucinatory terrain in this area and make the terrain the exact same as it was when we first came in, completely undisturbed, with the books where they were the scrolls where they were the stones where they were.
Okay.
But we're actually taking them all. Are you following?
Oh yeah, I follow it.
Does that fool
Alright.
all of us, too?
It's about to.
So, I'm going to make this whole 150-foot area look completely undisturbed using my 4th level spell.
Did you want me to give you the opportunity to read that spell thoroughly before you do this?
I'm double checking that right now. So it's saying the tactile characteristics of the trainer unchanged. So it's basically saying that like whatever he touches is still gonna feel how it was. So if he tries to grab a gem that's not there.
It actually says when terrain, so creatures entering the area. I mean, he's in the area. So only someone from the library looking into the room would fall for it.
Okay,
he's already
so it's
there.
from the outside in. Okay.
Yeah. Your character knows that. Moss knows it. Yeah, your character knows how his spells work.
Yeah, I was reading through, double checking that as I was.
Yeah.
Then we'll try a charm.
Okay.
This one's a DC 15.
Good old charm person.
I can actually drag that onto him.
I just did too.
Oh.
Ooh, he fails it.
All right. We mean no harm to you, buddy. Don't worry. We are your friends. And I promise I'm going to return all of these gems very soon.
Oh, okay.
Then I walk over, and then I don't know if I have the time on this turn, but I'm going to start picking up the remainder of the stones.
Okay. So you've got that.
Has this
one.
guy got a sword at his side? He was a knight, right?
No, you're confusing him with somebody else. This guy doesn't have any kind of a melee weapon.
All right.
Need it.
Does the blue flame or the blue glow kind of recede at all, or no?
The blue glow was a flash. Only
Oh, okay. It wasn't
only Ander. Gabriel saw it.
No, the spell that was coming from his hand.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
That's still there, but you
Okay.
recognize it as like, it's the cantrip, frost, whatever. Sorry,
Frostbite?
I was thinking.
Wasn't sure if that
It was the
receded a bit
cantrip. It
with
was the
the
cantrip ray
charm.
of frost, not frostbite. But my point is,
Oh, okay.
it was the cantrip ray of frost, which you realize it's starting to go away as your charm is taking effect. And yeah, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stones total that you find on the desk and around a drawer and such. And
Awesome.
one of them you currently have, so we'll just, I don't know if I want to add it to your character sheet at this point or what.
Yeah, so I have the pink one, which was the calm.
Mhm.
So
there's the marble scarlet, and there's one that seems to be made out of just normal rock and stone. Um, there's the red sapphire, blah blah blah. What else we got over here? There's one that looks like a golden amber, and then he has the lavender, like it's lavender with like some green spots in it and stuff, and he goes, "Oh, hang on to this." And he hands you the one he's been trying to put on his
oh,
head.
thank you. You're too nice.
Oh, not at all.
I think
You know, you're a great guard for this place, I must say. You're doing a great job.
I'm not the guard.
What is your position?
Don't help him remember.
I Sam, ask him about the sword.
I study here.
Oh, you study.
I do. I used to study here. And he
That's
points
great.
at the
Knowledge
at
is
the
knowledge is
table,
power.
desk, and he goes, "Something over here is important."
Oh shit!
Get right on
He
that
walks
then.
over
He
here.
started counting. He started remembering. Motherfucker.
So am
Yeah, but
I
he's
good to like
smart.
leave the room?
The door's open. Gabriel's standing there in awe. His
Okay,
jaw
we're
is dropped.
observing this. We're observing this.
Yeah.
All right. I am stepping back out, and
Okay.
I'm going to take a minute to cast magic circle right at the doorway here.
Okay.
With the idea of trapping undead.
Okay.
And then moving this out of the
Hey, wait.
takes a minute to cast it, so
But he's charmed.
for 1 hour, and then he remembers that you charmed him.
Okay, that's a good point. But when he was charmed, you could just walk up to him and stab him in the head.
Well, once we
Or-
attack him, he's going to realize we're not friendly, and he's going to start fighting us back. So we had to fight a
And
lich
he's
then.
starting to remember who he is right now. That's why I walked out of the room. And
All I'm saying is put the circle in the room so you don't have any problem at all.
I'm going to close the door behind me on the way out.
Okay.
I think that's a good place to start.
Okay.
I was
But you can ask him. He's charmed. Go ask him about the sword. He might know where the sword is. If he's starting to remember.
Not it.
well,
I don't want to go back in there.
if I trap him in the circle, we can I can restore his memory, and then we could actually talk to him.
And I have that scroll that'll do that as well if you don't want to use a slot.
So, Chris, I have a question about the spell. If I were to cast it in the room with him, he would see me putting it there, right?
I mean, you could cast it in a way that he doesn't. You could try to cast it in a way that he doesn't know you cast it, especially in his current state.
Then I definitely would do that in the room then.
Oh yeah, the circle. Yeah, sure. He just lets you as you go into the room and you start walking around him and drawing. He like just kind of watches.
Okay.
Corner of his bed and away from all the things that he can get to. Yes. That is a good tactic.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
All right. Well, now we've trapped a lich.
Now ask the lich the questions. Sit down in his chair, turn his chair around, and ask him a question. Good cop, demon cop, he says.
Let me know.
Well, I mean, we can take everything out of the room now if we want, as long as we're out of this place in an hour.
That's the goal.
So now, feeling a bit more confident, I announce, Magnus, this guy, I come out because I don't have to be in there with the spell. Come out and just tell everybody, this guy's a lich who lost his memory.
That he's-
I giggle.
and I say it appears that he's starting to remember when he started to cast against Moss, something started to trigger his memory. I put him in the magic circle so he can't hurt any of us if he all of a sudden does remember.
Okay, sounds good. I like it.
Stuck there for an hour, and then he's going to be really pissed. Did you take all of the stones, Moss?
I believe so.
Did you take all of the scrolls in the book?
Actually, sorry, I left one of them. There was one that oh no, he gave it to me. Never mind.
I didn't take any.
You took
Might
Moss
be
has
lost.
Meta.
Oh,
Meta. I don't know if Moss is sharing this, but Meta Moss has all the stones and all the scrolls.
All the
Nobody
scrolls.
took the
Yes.
book. The book is still in the room.
You want that book?
How long do we have?
1 hour. And no matter what, whether you take his things or not, he's going to want to kill all of us.
So
Right now, he's willing to give us his things, though. He's
Yeah.
happy to.
all right, so he was standing here
Ask
when
the
all
sword.
of us were lined up in the doorway. Did Gabriel or I notice some sort of magic focus that he is using?
Nope.
No. Okay. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get to here. It's not my turn.
Oh, I'm not really working in rounds right now.
Okay, then I go grab the book. I come back.
As you go to reach for the book, you get an insight check. You hit like a 19, and the hair just stands on end. Your tail stands on end a little bit. And you remember the way you felt the last time he asked you not to take the book. You feel that the book is the key, maybe the linchpin of this whole thing, and taking the book might have different results than taking the rest of the items. You can still take the book, but you made a 19 on that insight check, so you figure you remember that. You realize that.
Oh, you made it for me. I'm like, what?
Yep. Yep. So you put together that if this is some kind of a lich, he was or still is some kind of a wizard, that is his spell book. It's a little more personal than the rest of the items that have been taken from this room. And you feel there could be consequences. But you don't know what they are.
It's one of those things where I'm gonna kill you last.
Or first. I don't know.
The other thing, I think we could try to kill him while he's in the circle. He just can't fire back out at us.
When I kill the witch.
So that's the other option.
I'm reading a book.
I'm telling you this.
You are.
We have a lich in a cage.
Every time
we
you
can-
think you have his attention, you realize you don't. As you look around the room, this guy here is reading about other planes of existence. This pet poltergeist is reading about how to come back from the dead. This one's just covering seances and ways to mess with the living. Where was I? Stella is definitely looking at werewolf lore. Like, there's no maybe there. And they're all just focused on what they're reading. So,
No, it's like a drawing on the ground. Keeps him trapped inside of it.
Not this. Not that.
Not what?
This circle.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm asking.
Oh, what are you asking?
Like, Ander had this ability. It's like a globe of
Oh, yeah,
force.
yeah.
Do you have that?
Cleric, wizard.
All right, so we have lost half of our party to literature. The three of us, do we want to sit and just poke the lich to death?
We could poke the lich to death, and then during the final 6 seconds, I could cast Wall of Fire around him.
You could do that now.
It only lasts a minute.
Yeah. So
Fair.
for
What you're gonna do to him is gonna kill him in under a minute.
He can't really attack us, right?
right, he
So
can't
why would I cast the wall if he's not going to attack us?
because
It only hurts him if he tries to walk
no, everything. If you do it this way with the heat going in, anyone 10 feet away from the outside of the wall takes damage every round that they're in it.
So Magnus, what fighting style or melee surrounded feat is Magnus focusing on? What direction are you going to go in with that? Did you have a chance to look?
All right. No, 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 I didn't. I didn't
Um,
use the green. I was more interested in making sure I'm paying attention to the story.
is Magnus already a fighter? I apologize if he is. Yes,
Yes,
he is.
Magnus is a fighter. He's an
Yeah.
Eldritch, but I can definitely find something that
hmm Either
critiques.
either a feat to add to your repertoire or another fighting style. You currently have protection, but you could choose another because that's what you're reading. And if you do spend the hour, you're gonna have that. And I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be a dramatic moment coming up that the hour's over. So I wanted to get that choice out of the way, assuming you're gonna stick with that. It sounds like you are. It sounds like you're gonna finish reading.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it had 1d8 per slot.
No, it's not slots. It's all right. So he's in the wall and takes that much damage. Yes. All right. Now he's near the point that I choose, so he takes that much damage too. Yes.
That's when the wall appears. It's the first time it would.
Oh.
And then after that, it's 5d8. So he'd take 5d8 or he saves. And then he takes the rest there. If you do that one, it just adds 1d8 too.
But it adds it to the initial 5d8 and the subsequent.
All right. We have a plan. E pormus unum.
Okay.
Whose turn is it?
We can go back.
What are we doing? Are we
initiative.
killing the Lich? Are we?
We'll say we took like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to figure out the plan, and then we can go back into initiative.
Okay.
That is cool. Let me see if I can get some NPC initiative rolls here. Go.
Do we need to re-roll initiative or?
Yes, we came out of initiative, so please.
Another 5.
Man, I hope this one works. What we're doing here is the whole reason Ander has Wall of Fire and
Yep.
Magical.
I know what it is.
All right, my turn.
Yes, it is Ezerin's turn. It has been about 10 minutes since this whole charmed magic circle thing has happened.
All right. So I move 20 feet, and I poke my head into the room. I take out the wand, and I cast a wall of fire around him.
Ouch, babe. Where exactly?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Can you control how? Can you make it smaller?
I think I can make it smaller and taller. How tall is the room?
That's a great question. I think it's 30.
30?
Mhm.
All right, so if it exceeds the 30, what happens to the fire?
One more
Does
time.
it come back in or fan out or just stop?
It just goes floor to ceiling.
Okay. So yeah, I just make it smaller.
Fit it right on the magic circle. Because then,
Yep.
there you go.
Only I'm going to pop it right. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'll stop moving him. He's walking in circles but the moment you cast, he could be in any one of those spots. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this wall right here. Oh, hold on. Yep. Right here is my point of focus for the actual cast of the spell.
Okay.
Now, when he's in the fire, he takes 5d8, but when he's near the wall that I'm focused on, like a portion of the wall I'm focused on, he's supposed to take another 5d8. Am I reading that right?
I don't know. I need to find out exactly where you're putting the wall first.
And then,
Like
Lesnar, what if you made it like
here?
a few feet smaller than the circle of protection so that he was kind of forced to be in it more often?
Well,
It's on the same line.
it's 10 feet in, so any square that he's in there is 10 feet because it's a 10-foot radius.
Okay.
So it should, unless Chris, we're reading that wrong. He would, no matter where he is in that, be subject to the fire, right? Because it's 5d8 when it first is cast.
I'm seeing
And then-
I'm seeing 1 foot thick on both descriptions, the wall and the ring. Is that against
Yeah.
what you guys are looking at?
No. So the way that it is the he chooses one side of the wall. So if he chooses the inside of it, any creature within 10 feet of the wall takes the 5d8 fire damage each round.
Oh, 10 feet of that side or inside the wall, a creature takes the same damage. Okay, I see it.
So it should just cook him for a minute.
So I'm assuming that the dangerous side is facing the inside of the circle. It's just,
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's
Yes.
there's 10 feet any way you go there. So he it looks like he's in a bit of trouble. Yeah.
All right, so I'll take 10d8 is what I'm reading. No, I mean just for the
5d8.
first. Just for the first.
10d8 if he actually touches the wall, right?
No, it's every round after that he'd take the 5d8. So 5d8 when it first gets cast, and then 5d8 each unless he figures out a way to somehow escape.
All right, so with that, he needs to make a dexterity saving throw. Yeah.
I believe so.
All right, here we go.
So I'm assuming there's just a wall of fire there now. He has
Yep.
failed the first save.
All right, and here's damage.
Ouch.
All right.
And then I believe that will end it for me.
Okay. He is no longer charmed.
Yeah.
And what does he have? Not
No.
a lot. He is going to try to shoot a ray of frost at you, Zezerin.
Can he see him through the
I
fire?
don't- Let's find out.
I am also on fire, by the way.
That makes sense.
Also, I don't think he can actually attack out of it.
He can. He's got disadvantage in the attack roll, but he can attack
Oh,
out of it. However,
And
I
he's-
don't know if he can see you.
Yeah.
The wall is
I only,
opaque and lasts the duration. He can't see on the other side of the wall. So you.
yeah, and I only peeked my head in the room and cast the fire, and now I'm back in the doorway.
You're back in the doorway. Have you closed the door?
No.
Okay. The doorway's the obvious spot to shoot at. Even if he can't see, he'd shoot in that direction. So I'm going to give him I'm gonna give him disadvantage on that. I'm also going to give him a -5 because he can't see, but he does know the square you're in. And without knowing the square you're in, he definitely wouldn't have a shot. So he's got a shot this round. Like, it's probably not going to last, but at the moment he's got a shot. So I've got disadvantage and -5 as he shoots where the door would be. And he, of course, misses. So you do see a ray of frost get around the door, like around the frame a bit. And it shoots through the wall of fire, but the wall of fire quickly after that. And then you can actually hear him, and he's just, oh dear.
Oh dear, oh me, oh my.
This won't do. Gabriel, you're up.
So I will prepare a to cast if he were to get out of it. Can I delay my action, or
Can you
if he somehow escapes, can
Yeah.
I be ready? Okay, so I'm going to
Absolutely.
prepare guiding bolt. If he were to get out, then that will trigger that attack.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Moss, I suggest you do the same. Prepare something nasty in case he gets out. If not, we just watch this bastard cook.
Moss,
I was gonna throw a moonbeam in the inside of there.
oh
I was thinking about
my.
doing that.
You have to see him to do
At
it.
this point, you can't see him, but I would have, I would have wanted to allow it. Because that's, you pretty much, you have an idea where he is. if
Could
you really
I
wanna-
roll a d6 and have it land in one of the 6 spots that are like in the middle?
Well, so Moss, I'll just tell you, like, ideally, this wall of fire lasts for a full minute. So that's 10 rounds.
You've got him. You've
thank
got him
you.
anyways, Moss. I mean,
You might want to save your spells to see if the wall of fire just kills him. That's why I'm saying, like, prepare something in case he figures out a way out. But if he doesn't, why not just let him cook, save the spell slots?
Fair.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm just scared of what he might have saved up to come at us. Already in action then. Assuming is hero.
Get ready, Moonbeam. If he steps out, blast him.
I was thinking the moonbeam or a thunderwave. Because thunderwave can knock him
Thunderwave
back
it
too.
back into it.
Just concentration.
Okay.
Right? So, in order to concentrate on it.
No, that's what she's doing now.
Sorry about
I assume the rest of our friends are continuing reading.
the ones that are reading are still reading. Yes.
Okay. Now you're out of the doorway, right?
No, I'm in the door. But people can move through my square.
But you may want to hide behind the wall so he doesn't accidentally hit you with something and break your concentration.
Well, it's not my turn, so.
Yeah, that pretty much covers that. So on his turn, does he take damage, or on your turn, Zezerin? I lost track of that.
His turn.
On his turn, I believe.
Well, it's your turn now, Vezrin, so you can hide behind the wall now.
Yeah. It's your turn.
All right. So I'm going to throw a firebolt at him.
Why? Just let him cook.
It's a cantrip.
I know.
It's extra damage.
You can't.
Plus, I'll be on fire.
like
Yeah.
You can't.
I can't. I
Is it
can't see.
opaque both sides.
Good question.
The wall is opaque and lasts for the duration. You can't see him. You can guess at what square he's in and all that, but
Don't bother, man. Just sit back, relax, protect yourself, ensure he doesn't hit you to violate your concentration skills. Please let this work.
Fine.
If it doesn't work, then we're going to need all this shit. Prepare if he escapes to do something to him.
So what I'm gonna do? Let's see here. 3. All right. Never mind. So yeah, I'm just gonna move about here. Would that block his possible sight of me?
yeah.
All right.
Wonderful.
And
You just stay there and think about walls of fire. You just concentrate on them.
I am no longer on fire. And yeah, that's me. And then he takes 5d8 on his turn.
He does. His turn starts. Go ahead and have his saving throw first.
I thought it was only when he enters it or is inside of it.
Yeah, the extra 5d8, it doesn't say anything about.
Okay.
I think because it's heat, there's no way to avoid it, kind of thing.
Yep. Agreed. It's not there.
We're on board.
There we go.
All right.
All right, you're taking them down a level each round. Let's see what happens now. This is like when Cal used to cast silence on all my wizards. And just slowly pick them up.
Gabriel, you I don't know how far away you are, but you did see some blue light hit the fire shield, but it doesn't matter. He tried to cast another ray of frost. Nothing really happened.
Oh, lovely. Okay. I am going to get a little bit of a closer look. I'm going to come in here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and get into this corner over here. In case he does get out, I have a better shot at him with my guiding bolt. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just prepare if he does escape. I'm blasting him.
Mm-hmm. Moss, you're up.
All right. I would like to. I think I'm gonna try the guessing game this time. Just try to put some damage on.
No. Just let him cook. Save your spells.
What?
I know it's not exciting, but it's effective.
Damage is effective.
He's going down from
I'm gonna stand right there at the edge and
wounded
then
to
just
moderate.
spray
Every
poison
round.
wildly through the flames.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm just gonna spray poison wildly through the flames.
Okay, what's the range?
Are you touching my
10 foot.
boss?
I can't hear you.
10 foot.
Okay. Yeah, you can have it make a saving throw. You're gonna be able. Your spell will affect him. You know,
Also,
you know he's in there. He did make the saving throw. Was that a cantrip?
Yes, so no
Okay.
damage.
So he's all set with that.
All right, and then I'll retreat.
Okay. No problem there.
And that's it for me.
You do see some movement in the library at that moment. Something catches your attention. I don't know if you want to focus on it or if you're doing your thing.
I'm not going to react to anything, but I will kind of divert my focus that way.
Both
To catch my
Henrich.
attention.
Well, just about one by one, the people in the library are starting to finish. Like they're coming out of whatever they were in. You've recently cast Charm Person. You know you have
You
an
can
idea
hear
of
like
how
that
those things work.
loud, like the stereotypical just
Well,
close and all that stuff.
So, some of them are just turning a page for like the first time in a while. Others are starting to
Oh,
close their
jeez.
book. Yeah. Stella's just snapped out of it. Hendrich just snapped out of it. Magnus is about to step out of it on his turn. On at the end
So,
of this
like,
round. By
the
the
books
end of the
almost
round,
run in, like, a
everyone's going to
trance?
be out of it. What was that?
Were they almost like entranced by the books?
Yeah, and you didn't notice how still they were until they weren't.
So it really almost was like they were mentally like drawn almost.
Yeah.
Like,
But at the same time, in an hour, they got information that they wouldn't have had without much more experience. So Magnus, you can roll initiative at this point because you're back into the thing coming into next round. I think Stella might want to roll initiative too, just to have an idea what Stella's doing. Oh, there's Stella. How you doing there?
so dexterous.
It's a 15 for damage. I'm gonna leave these guys down here in Ghostville. And oh yeah, Casimir is here. That's a 13 for Casimir. There we go. Did you have a chance to pick something, Magnus?
I have two questions, or one question actually.
Okay.
You said fighting style. What do you mean by that?
In the under class for fighter, there's a fighting style that he gets at level 1. You picked protector, but there's a number of other fighting styles on that list. And that's what I was talking about. Or a feat that matches a melee of some kind, not a spell related feat, but anything but a spell related feat I would have allowed. Something that would have made
Well,
sense to be in this melee sword fighting.
Yeah,
book.
no, I understand. I chose for feet Warcaster.
I can allow that. That is definitely.
Warcaster is fun.
Yeah, because it allows me to do the other thing
Warcaster
better.
coming at you. Boink. Warcaster is now on your character sheet.
Because I like the fact that I can get hit and not lose my concentration.
Mm-hmm.
That, and you can also cast while you're holding like a shield and a weapon, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you ended up on that part of that book, and all of you look up at around the same time, and there's a deep breath and a sigh, almost in unison, and then you all start to get your idea what's going on. And with that, Magnus, could you make a perception check for me, please?
I will.
Stella is not showing up on a couple things today. Just saying. I have to give you advantage on this roll.
What's that?
I have to give you advantage on this roll because this is so you. Okay.
Oh my god. The dice have spoken.
Okay. There's the candelabras in this room have gotten a little dimmer since you started reading, and there's a group of shadows in the room, and some of those shadows don't seem to be moving with the people that are standing in the room. But other than that, you're not able to really focus on any one thing. And I'm gonna have to drop Stella's initiative because she didn't make it either.
Let's get to it. Let's go.
Oh god.
Yes, for which?
It's a hit. Out of nowhere, a vampire spawn jumps off the wall here. She was 10 feet up on the wall in between two bookcases, hops down and starts to just bite at Stella, having no idea that she's a werewolf, just trying to dig into what she thinks is a tasty meal. She succeeds on the attack, and then is very surprised at the taste and tries to claw her instead.
Oh jeez.
It's gonna make Stella real mad.
Yes, it is.
It's your turn next.
You're still sitting, but this attack is coming your way. So this vampire spawn has advantage on this attack. Because unfortunately, you didn't hear the vampires come in the room. That's very sad.
Understood.
And it's just claw. Natural 20.
Oh god.
Rakes into your armor with her first claw, and then goes for the second one. Oh, yes. Okay. This one claws up the cylinder, the amber cylinder, is just calls right over the banister. Jumps into this area and starts to run over here to the old wizard guy. And tries to claw at him. Oh, he's sitting down too. That's advantage. That's a hit.
Wow.
And a miss. So that's done. This door is open, so as she sneaks in, she sees Ezrin standing here.
Oh come on. Oh man.
What's the matter, Steve? Claw.
It's the concentration.
Natural 1.
Jesus of D&D.
You can't even hit our weakest character. Come on.
Flips.
Call yourself a vampire.
Staggers into the square between the two of you and accidentally shuts the door. Well, it's not completely closed.
I was trying to bait the hit from her if she was going to hit again. Just so we don't lose that player.
And we're just going to get a claw on Casimir here. It's got advantage, but we'll just re-roll the natural 1. And that is definitely a hit. Because Casimir is also sitting down. And natural 20. Just once again kill off Casimir, that's fine.
Not quite, but almost.
How many vampire spawns are there in this room?
This one comes over to here, just gives the two of you a look, and closes the door. And that's his turn.
Well, that was rude.
It was.
You glad you still have all your spell slots, guys?
Stella is about to stand up and start swinging. One of them's a hit.
Is
she
she
is just
hulked
clawing.
out?
She's just clawing. Boom. And then as a bonus action, yeah, Stella gets real. What's her current initiative? 18? She has got 11 points of damage. So Zezerin, the last 6 seconds got interesting.
Alright, so I noticed a vampire walk into the room, and now I'm thinking to myself, that room's probably getting worked on. So I'm getting a little worried, concentrating on my fire. The vampire in front of me, I'm going to reach out and touch him with a shocking grasp.
It is clearly a her, but go ahead.
I'm going to
Bold
touch
of you
the
to think.
vampire.
That's not very politically correct.
For 6
It
damage.
looks like a her doesn't mean it. It's a her.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those they keep switching back every time they take damage things. All right, well I'm not gonna keep changing them. That's just gonna hurt. That's just gonna hurt my feelings. I'll fine.
So, shocking grasp is this vampire wearing anything made of metal?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So what is it? They can't take reactions?
Yes, they can't take reactions.
All right.
This
So
is the
then,
only campaign that does that.
with all the doors closed,
Hide behind Moss.
yep, I'm gonna run behind Moss.
Good move. Well, good use of shocking grasp.
And then that is my turn. He takes the fire damage on his turn, yes?
Yep.
Fine.
I got distracted by the whole trying to fix the stupid tokens. It's so annoying. So is that his turn? It is. Please throw damage for him, for he is stuck in a circle of fire.
Please make them a lot of damages.
Boom.
There we go. Heavy. There they are.
You actually think you hear, like, you even see his fist a little bit, Gabriel, like,
Hmm.
knocking on the fire wall.
Oh, you're
Hello? This is starting to hurt.
So does he take 1d4 for each knock?
No, I think the 20 points covers it. Magnus.
I'm going to cast right now. I'm going to cast Booming Blade.
I'm gonna figure you stand up too. You're no longer prone. You stand up from the
Yep.
chair or whatever.
Stand up. Cast Booming Blade.
Okay.
Oh, you're doing a thing.
I'm just fixing Booming Blade.
Gotcha.
That's not possible because Tasha's isn't open in this campaign.
Hit this guy. I hit this guy.
Nice.
No. Damage. What did I hit him with? Oh shit! I hit him with an axe. That's why. That's not it. I wanted to hit him with the other. Anyway, hit him with the axe. And then I'm going to, as my bonus action, as he's hit by Blooming Blade and its effect, I'm going to charge the door. I'd like to hit my maximum. I don't know what that would involve. Like, can I charge through 5 to get myself to 1? With the shield action?
Can I charge through 5 to you? What are we talking about? I got lost.
Can I go from here to here
That door's
and
closed.
shield charge 5?
Uh,
Try and get to 1.
Even if you shield charge 5, somewhere along the way you'd have to open the door.
I'd have to what?
Open the door.
Open the door.
Yeah. 6 purposely spent his whole turn just closing the door and like blocking it.
I'm really not the kind of guy that thinks about opening a door. I'm thinking about, like, you know, maybe shield charging me, the vampire's way, through the door.
These are stone walls that have secret doors, not necessarily like the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
So yeah, that might not work.
So let's go shield charging to here
Okay.
on that one. So that provokes an opportunity, but if it moves, it takes the booming damage. Correct?
If it has to move 5 feet out of, it has to move out of that square to take the booming damage.
Okay.
Taking a reaction, melee weapon attack won't cause the.
All right. Well, you get the melee.
Okay.
You get the.
Yeah, she'll definitely try to claw you as you try to get away from her. I don't know why she had advantage though.
Yeah, I didn't use the.
You didn't use the thing?
I didn't use the thing.
Alright, I'm gonna turn Berserker is there it is. Alright, I gotta turn that off. Okay, we're good there. Alright, back
I hate
to
that.
her attempt to hit you with a claw. She rolled a 16, that is a miss. So you get her claws go whoosh, and hit the chair you were in, but you stand up quickly and head over to 5. Go ahead and I think you're trying to shield bash her.
Yeah.
And that's a strength save.
24.
It's not a save. It's a oh, that's right. It's a combination check. So she's doing athletics or acrobatics, right? Or probably just athletics, which for her is 13. So she's affected by shove, which means she can be knocked prone or pushed back.
I'll go with the pushback.
Okay.
That put me here then?
Yep.
Okay. That's exactly what I wanted.
Mhm. Is that a bonus action?
Yeah, that's bonus action.
Okay, so it's still your turn.
I'm going to. Is that what I want to do? I think that's what I have. I can pull a weapon right now, right? If I drop the X. All right.
Part of your movement is
So
pulling a
let's
weapon. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll pull the sword, and then I'll take the advantage or the disadvantage. Let that boy out. And take a step. Is that just one target? To the start of my. Does that one take booming blade damage too?
Oh no, you've got booming blade here, right?
Right. That's what I'm wondering because it says to the end of my next turn.
It's what once it's like imagine you put the magic on the weapon. Once you hit
Uh-huh.
someone with that weapon, the energy's now on that someone and their target.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
And then that leaves the weapon, and Booming Blade is cast and settles in on Vampire Spawn 2. If Vampire Spawn 2 moves, she gets the damage, which is gonna happen.
No, she don't want.
Did you reckless attack?
I did.
Okay. And I don't know why Berserker Fury would be off. I don't remember what Berserker Fury is. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Ah, there's Berserker Fury. Oh, it's a feat. Oh, you can do this a number of times, etc. Blah 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 blah, and that's why it's on or off. Okay. Do you have another attack?
That's two.
Okay, so you're all set.
Yep.
Casimir's gonna leap into action. Haha!
Oh no! Why are you moving away? I was there for a reason.
Casimir's an
You
idiot.
literally get in position.
Do you drop him any hints that you don't want him to move from? He's got to get out of that chair. But do you
Right.
drop him any hints on where you want him to go?
I'll kill the vampires. Best way you can.
So you don't drop him any hints on where you want him to be standing?
There's good.
Well, there's a
Have
chair
you
in this spot. He's got to move.
Have you directed your army of ghosts to do anything?
Not yet. No, if you drop him a hint to go here or here, he's got a chance at realizing that. Otherwise, he's gonna jump to here.
Yeah, no, get beside me.
Okay, so you don't drop a hint. You just tell him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In that case, um, which one? Do you care?
Yep, right there's fine.
Right here. Okay.
Away from the vampire
There's a
trying to
whole
hit you.
there's a whole moment where he's looking like trying to do what you're telling him to do, and then he gets to there, and then what does he do? Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. Sure, you bet. Yeah.
So, I just- oh,
Doesn't it doesn't have a lot of aggression on his Yeah, about that. Oh, look, firebolt. There it is. Okay. Does he? Yeah. All right. He's gonna launch a firebolt. That's right. He hit. I'm so proud of him. Oh my God, are you serious? Is that accurate? That can't be accurate. All right, I'm just gonna do this. Bam. Take that.
Damn.
Servant Gabriel.
All right. Well, now I know
where
where.
the fuck are you? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, my go ahead.
Now that I know where he is, and
Yeah, you can still kind of see his hand. You could reach out and touch him if you wanted to.
I'm going to walk here and cast Spiritual Guardians.
Oh my fucking God.
I'm unaware of what's happening in the other room, but I think this will be helpful if I have to go in there also.
No, it makes sense.
Oh,
Jesus.
bam!
Spirit guardians show up. Your ancestors are. What do your spirit guardians look like?
Well, they changed with becoming a patron.
Oh,
Markovia,
that's right.
And so now they're all like clerics and knights of Markovia.
They all show up, and then each one are like, and then they go into the fire anyways. But and then so one of them's up against the wall. Like it's just kind of there's not a lot of room to work here. But yeah, they figure it out. Just there's that 1 second where they're surprised. Yeah, and they go on in there and they do their work. Okay.
I thought they were all just gonna target his one hand poking out from the fire, just beat it like a pinata.
break that one finger's broke. Like Moss, yeah, you're in a spot, but you're up. And you sense
do,
the radiance. You think you think the spirit guardians have gone off. You're used to what that feels like, even though there's a stone door closed here.
So I'm gonna cast Moonbeam.
Naturally.
I'm debating if I want to bump it up to a 3, but now we're just gonna go for a 2. And I'm gonna cast it on the vampire who's right here, obviously. So we'll save. Succeeded. That's all right for now. I can pull up a token real quick. Is it just me, or does the token tab like kind of slow down your fantasy grounds for a second?
A little bit.
So it's on her square. I'm just gonna do that for ease, and then she takes half of this. She should be automatic.
Bam. And I'm
There we
done
go.
fixing the tokens. When they switch, they switch. That's it. I forgot about that. Oh well, I threw this together. Well, not all of it, but at the last second I tried to make the tokens look cool. And forgot. Okay, so that's 2d10 radiant, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Boom.
And then as my
you need
bonus
to stop,
action, I'm
stop,
gonna use Wild
stop
Shape.
fucking up my moonbeam. There.
Okay. Oh, it's that big?
Yeah, it's 5-foot radius.
Okay. And I'm gonna use Wild Shape to go in bear form,
Wow.
and that'll be my.
I'm not
bonus
gonna say
action for my
no.
turn.
What size is the bear?
He's a medium, I think.
I don't know if
No,
you're right
might be
about that.
large.
I think he might be large.
That's okay if he's a large.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
We'll just press Gabriel into the
You don't
corner.
have enough
Gabriel
room
guys
to
into the corner.
become. You don't have enough room to become a bear. I think there's something in there that says if there's not enough room, you can't do it.
There's just gonna be a wall of bear between me and this vampire.
You're welcome. You're
That
welcome
was-
to try. You're welcome
That
to
was
try.
the plan. Was basically to just be a wall of barrier between our firecaster and the vampire.
Okay.
So I notice what he's thinking, and I say, no.
You see, like my ears start to like kind of verify a little bit, round out. My
Verify.
nose is starting to elongate.
Boss,
Moss, no.
Boss, if you pin me against the wall and I take damage, I'll never forgive you.
Or
We need-
poop.
We need this fire.
And then I might be blind here, but Chris, I'm not seeing my chart. Never mind. I was blind.
Okay.
I could turn into a smaller creature. What size is that? It could be a giant badger.
Okay.
That's a medium creature.
Why do you want to be giant creatures in this little room?
It's
Well,
not. It's not a
Giant
giant
badger
creature, I
is
just said.
still, medium-sized creature. I give him that.
Does the moonbeam go away when he transitions to?
Absolutely not.
Druids. You can concentrate on a spell. You can't cast when you're in animal form, but you can continue to concentrate. That's why he cast it first, and then he changed. There you are. You're so fucking cute.
I'm just like hiss at this. What I don't know if they hiss what noise they make, but I'm just gonna make badger makes at this vampire to intimidate.
Can I ask kind of just a gameplay
I
question?
can't wait to hear it.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if are you doing that because in the animal form it gives an advantage to concentration checks, like if you do get hit, or
He's doing it because it ups his armor class and gives him a big.
So
that's
yes.
what I'm asking. Like it doesn't.
So right now what's going on is the honey badger has 15 constitution when I only had 12.
Okay.
I had 14 because of the gem. I'm assuming the gem is still attuned to me, so I still get a +2 con. Chris?
That's a bit of a stretch, but I'll let it go. Yeah, okay.
I wasn't sure if that was gonna work. Okay.
I'll go with that. I'll go
so
with
then
that.
I
So
would
as you
actually
wild shape, usually your magic items become a part of you, and in that case, the Ion Stone would have become a part of you and no longer been spinning. But no, I'm gonna let that go. We're good. So the Ion Stone
Sweet.
does not go when you do, which means other things can happen, which is people can attack it, people could try to take it, even in your animal form. You would be, that's a thing. So I was leaving that choice could be yours. I think you just made it. You get a +2 after you shapeshift. That's fine.
which would bump me up to
Badger.
17.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you did it so that you'd have a better.
He wanted the
Concentrate.
hip. I figured it was the hit points. Bless you.
And then
Thank you.
can I give myself just a +2 con now that I've had it on for a bit instead of having the temporary points, just so it's a little easier between forms?
Yes. Yes.
So
you
would I
can.
just make my con +4 modifier,
Nope.
or manually change it to 17?
You're. Now's a bad time to switch those numbers because you're in wild
Okay.
shape.
We'll do it after I
Switch
come
to-
out.
You go ahead and do it. I think you have your old character saved. You were 12. You went to 14, and now you're gonna go to 17 in this particular situation. You'll have to manage
And
your own
then I'll go
constitution.
back down to 14 after I'm out.
Mm-hmm. So your 13 is what did you become, a badger?
Yes. So the badgers normally got 13 HP.
That's not the number I need. I need to know their hit die. It's probably 2. If you got that in front of you. You don't have that in front of you?
No. I can Google it real quick if you want.
Badger. No, it's here. It was on your character sheet.
Was it? Oh, is that like the bottom? Okay, that's what you're looking for.
Giant badger.
Uh,
Yeah, it's a 2d8 plus 4 hit die creature. So it's a 2 hit die creature, which means it's getting a +1. It was currently getting +2 for that Constitution bonus. Now it's going to get another +1. That's all. It's all hit point. There you go.
and then for future, how do I check what you were asking for?
I'll get to it later.
Okay.
Scroll all the way down, and there's just a link to the Monsters Manual, which you might not have access to, which is why I was realizing.
I think that might have been the issue. I think it says I need to have access to that mod.
I am a rogue poltergeist, and I am working for Magnus. Haha. So I am going to run over here, and I am going to attack this guy with my sword. Stab. It's going to say something. But look at that!
Look at that!
These guys are so bad.
You guys are awesome.
That. How about that? I'm going to go in here quick and take a look at this hit. It says something about...
Which guy is that? That's the guy that was
6.
looking at the how to come back from the dead. He really wants to come back from the dead.
I wanted to. You should be your henchman. This guy's badass.
Bam! That's a natural 20 with his sneak attack, force blade, poltergeist crap. Yeah! Right into the throat and then back out. Take that, vampire.
Oh,
And then
And yeah.
and then he goes over here. He just kind of positions himself. And you saw like a flare, like some kind of a, like he's holding a rapier and something out of one of those pirate movies. Shah! And he sneaks off during the attack in a way that doesn't
Are you
provoke.
being born? No.
It had a little bit of that. And like the way he sneaks off during the attack, he did not provoke an attack of opportunity, as if he suddenly gained the mobile feat. Let's move on. And then where's the fighter one? Aha, here he is. What the fuck is he gonna do? Okay, over here. And he is going to... He's holding a great sword, I'm gonna say, and he's just gonna swing. And he misses. We'll get. I'll flesh them out if they stick with us. Flesh them out.
He was the one who was looking for different planes of existence. We know where his head's at.
Oh no, that's the fighter poltergeist. The wizard you're talking about is currently not there. You lost track of him.
Oh shit, he's got dinner. He ran away.
Yeah, Henrik is currently invisible, metagaming, but he
Okay.
turned invisible and went into the corner.
Screw him,
So this vampire spawn sitting in a moonbeam. I suspect that means something horrible.
what that
for
means
it.
is I made a mistake, and the damage that he took on my turn, he would have taken on his turn instead.
Okay, so he's fine. So he's gonna
He
start his
takes
turn.
it when he enters
There
it for
is
the
a
first time.
badger, and he's going to bite the badgers because it's delicious. That is a 24.
Just a flesh wound.
A little bit of damage from the badger.
Let me make my
And-
Constitution saving throw real quick.
Yes, please.
That's with advantage because I'm a warcaster.
As you wish. Uh-oh.
And that was a failed throw. Do I have the option to use lucky?
You do.
I think I'd like to do this.
Be my guest.
I think that would be a good idea.
She just digs her teeth right into the badger, as if the badger looked more tempting than what Moss was before that. Okay, you're good. And here comes the second
That
attack.
looks a little better.
And the second attack is a 21. That's gonna hit.
That's awesome.
And she's done eating she's done eating you now. Please make another.
We ate some hits at least. Alright, con should be 14. Alright.
Natural 20.
Oh, no, it's about advantage anyways.
I
So
saw
it doesn't
it.
matter.
Okay, so her turn's done. Where's this vampire spawn? Now they all just look like vampire spawns, but that's okay.
Boom.
Yeah. You're interesting.
Go boom. 2 times.
This is gonna be a claw bite.
No, you got to take boom damage.
Oh, she goes boom. That's right. Roll her boom damage. It's like a D8, right?
Yeah, it's 2 die 8 because I'm above the level.
Oh, that's right. Did you throw it yet?
I tried throwing it in her. It didn't hit.
I'll take care of it.
There it is. Nope. Didn't do it.
Booming blade, 2d8 damage on her. Got it. Ouch. And she's just slashing into you. She got a couple hits there. Now they all look the same, but whatever. Oh, he's fighting a ghost. That's hilarious. He hit. And he's yelling at. There's a whole banter going back and forth. The hell are you doing?
Do I hear all the yelling?
Yeah.
Or- Okay, all right.
Where is this?
It's a free action. I just say, you need to hurry up and die, sir. My friends need me in the other room. I doubt it. But you're going to be able to tell everyone you ever meet that you killed a 20th level undead spellcaster. And he didn't fire off anything more than Cone of Cold or whatever that was.
And he missed.
Yeah.
These two are laying into this guy. They're almost done there. Magnus, you are the talk of the town over here. Oh, that's another hit. That's a miss. And who is this? Okay. And that was a he. What is he's going to head over to take on this guy? He provoked Magnus. Unless, and if you had ways to keep him there, you could let me know too. I don't know if you cared.
Nope. Damn.
And that's 8. Rogue Poltergeist is only going to take 4 of that because he uncanny dodges. That leaves me with Stella. And for some
I wish
reason,
I were watching this. My character would be training right now.
why isn't Stella on the map?
Stella.
1, 2.
She is. She's up by the table there.
4, 5.
She's sitting in the chair as a werewolf.
6.
There we go. There you go, girl.
And then she is going to. Moss, you hear her howl. I mean, everybody hears her howl, but you realize it's a "Are you okay, Moss?" howl. There's not a lot of words involved in it, but you get the communication. Do you respond?
I feel like Moss would be a little bit, even though he kind of hears that, I see him being a little more focused on the fighting right now.
So you don't respond?
Nah.
Okay. That means she's going to
I'm worried
action
about this
surge.
vampire
She's
in
going
front
to
of me.
swing the door open. She's not going to walk into the moonbeam. That's when she's going to. Let's see. So we're talking about using her. She's using her action surge and a couple other pieces here to pull all this off. But what she does is she is going to try to grapple the vampire spawn in front of her.
And then Magnus, if you can shield bash that
She
vampire
fails,
into the
so that's the end of
moonbeam.
that. Yeah, Stella's plan was to throw a vampire spawn into the moonbeam, but that didn't work because she wasn't able to
Yeah,
get a
if
grip
Magnus
on
can
them.
just shield bash him right there, or her right there. That'd be great.
Zezran, that makes it your turn. Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. So the vampire in the moonbeam. I take out the wand. I throw a firebolt at him.
Pew.
I duck.
I say,
Over
Moss.
my head.
Oh.
I miss, but I remain concentrated.
Yes.
All right.
Change my hair a little bit or something with it.
There's a skeleton inside of a very elaborate trap. at this point.
Hey, you got to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, he's not gonna make that. Let's try. So it was a saving throw, 24. So go ahead and roll. Just roll in the chat, and then you put that on him. So I have to take some of that off.
10 damage.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
And he's gonna take fire damage too.
Oh, that was the 21 I just rolled.
Yeah, here's the radiant.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so
12.
Half
10,
that.
10 of that goes, and then 6 of that comes off. So we're really there. Okay, I'm on board now.
I take it he's not looking too good.
No,
We
he's
can't really
not.
see.
He's not doing it all well. However, Steve,
Mhm. I know he knows where I am now.
not that. A necrotic burst comes from the middle of all that and does seep out past the flame, past the magical circle. And this effect, this just necrotic stench of magic decay does fill the room to the point where I need you to make a saving throw. It is a Constitution saving throw.
You hit him so hard he farted.
All right. Come on. Nice and high. Nope.
Actually, Butler, you should get this one. I think Vezir might have just shit the guy.
Oh, I have inspiration. I'm going to use it on this one.
Go ahead, do that. That's a good idea.
Oh my God, the dice are smoking.
Gabriel,
Alright.
no.
Let's hope we don't see Gabriel's in status critical.
I mean, I love you.
I don't know. Oh, that wasn't bad.
And you made
Lot of ones.
yeah, 1 2 1 1 4 1.
Fucking binary at this point.
You hear Markovia at the last second. It's all right. I'm here. It's gonna be okay. Let him go. And he what you realize what just happened was you kind of breathed in the remainder of him. There's no noise. There's nothing like that. He's just gone. And with that went this strange stench that I can't even get rid of the circle of because all these circles are here now. Okay.
So I don't know if anyone is a huge fan of The Office, but there was an episode where Dwight gets a concussion and he turns into like a really nice person. And at the end, when he's going to get healed, Pam says, "I'm really going to miss you." I say that to that poor absent-minded man who meant no harm to anyone, but it would have come back as a twisted, evil, disembodied creature. I say goodbye to him, and I wish a blessing of Markovia on him as he dies.
Whatever, Ander.
there is
come on!
there is a thin layer of lich on your outfit right now. Just a little bit of chalk. Other than that, you should be okay. And
Tell my family to clean me off, and
yeah, they might. That's very possible. Magnus, it is your turn.
Shield bash.
This door is now open.
Relax. Okay, these guys have upset me, so I'm going to cast a second level spell of Warding Bond, which gives my AC +1 and resistance.
That's not what Warding Bond does at all.
Isn't it?
Warding Bond allows you to cast that on somebody else. They get a +1 to AC. They get resistance, and the half damage that they don't take, you take.
That's right.
Yeah. Warding Bond's fun time, but you want to use it right.
Right.
I don't see the opportunity to use Warding Bond right now. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's a fun time, but that's not what you're looking for right now. You're looking for like Shield of Faith
I
or
wasn't,
something.
I wasn't using my shield before. That's
You're not using a shield?
I did well the spell shield.
Oh, right.
I should have put that into play as I was taking all those hits, and or the blade warding, which we were.
Usually I'd be like, we haven't played this module in a while. We'll go back and do some of that. But all your characters have shields, so that's really your fault. Like,
Not all, just two. Cribbin doesn't have it.
you're right. You're right. Kerwin
So
doesn't have shield.
it's just the two melee guys. I mean, they're not that far apart. They're
Yeah.
really not. It's just one person.
I
I
can't. I
thought
can't give
about
you that. I can't give you that. You.
like to weapon pack this guy right now would be phenomenal. I'd do it with the berserk sword. Take a shot.
Mhm. It's like
Um,
I always imagine that between Magnus and Ravenborn, you wish you were like playing Diablo and you could just swap the items sometimes. It's a little
yeah,
this
you're not
item
wrong.
here, this item there. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to blast her.
Yeah, yeah. So close. You want that 20 so bad.
I really do.
I want to see it.
And then I'm gonna blast you again. She's so teasing. Such a tease. Such a tease.
I don't remember which ones are girls and boys anymore. I'm not worried about that. I feel bad. One of them hasn't been hit yet because he hasn't changed.
And then shield dash.
Sure. You're up against a 7.
That's
Because
horrible.
the undead strength of these vampires aren't
I
even
have a
showing up.
+6, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move her where you want her. Into the moonbeam, I imagine?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If she starts her turn there, she
Can we
takes
take that
damage.
as a buck so I don't take an opportunity, or am I going with it?
You moving? Okay.
No, I'm saying I don't want to move with it. Can I use it as a buck?
I don't know.
Like a straight up like shield bash, like I stabbed her, and then
Yeah.
brought the shield up and she fell 5 back, or
Yeah.
am I moving with it?
You don't have to move with it.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want to take the opportunity of attack.
Okay. Moss, is it your turn?
No, the vampire entered the moonbeam.
The vampire was forced entered into the moonbeam. That's different. When she
That
starts
doesn't
her
count as entry.
yep. When she starts her turn, she'll take that damage though.
Oh, because it says when they enter for the first time in a turn or start their turn.
She didn't enter the moonbeam.
Okay.
Her body entered the moonbeam, but she didn't enter the moonbeam. But the point is, it was forced movement, and therefore doesn't have any of those negatives or whatever. It does. Forced movement doesn't cause attack opportunities or trigger those effects, but she's going to start her turn there, so it will. Otherwise, she would have been hit twice by it. It's supposed to be start your turn or during your turn, the once per
Oh,
turn.
I thought
once
that
per
was like
round.
a nice little like tactic
No.
to use in the moonbeam.
And she'll
Okay.
be in there at the start of her next turn. It's not meant to happen twice in one round. That's the way they're wording it. The loop around it is later. They'll mention if something's force moved, it doesn't trigger any of that.
Okay.
Anyways, we're still on Magnus's turn unless we're done.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Okay.
I don't have anything left. My bonus action, my action, and I need my reaction. So I'm good.
That's a long. That's possible. Okay. Oops.
Circleless.
Oops. Gabriel, could you put your circle back?
Yep.
I want to remove what I thought was a line, and everything disappeared because I'm an idiot.
Which circle did you want back?
Both of them, I think, are still in effect.
Yeah. Because if we can lure those vampires into the magic circle, that'll work there too.
Yeah. I mean, they can't go in it, but
You can walk up to him. Oh, that.
uh,
Um,
which one? Which one? This one. Gabriel, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going to
Casimir,
make my way.
launch some magic missiles.
Can I get out of the door?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Door
open.
wide open right there.
Oh, it's open. I thought they accidentally shut it. Was what you
Oh,
said.
that's right.
Yeah.
I think she went to shut it or partly shut it. I don't know if it completely shut.
She swung at Vezerin and missed,
It's
and then
mostly
shut it.
closed.
It's mostly
Okay.
closed. Yeah, it's partially opened.
All right, so I can't actually get out. I'm going to open it all the way and take the dodge action.
Ah,
The family
Okay.
is now in the room, and I announce to my friends, the Lich is dead.
The wicked Lich is dead.
where is? There you are. Boop.
You may now freely use your spell slots without my judgment or chastisement.
Okay. Where is Moss? It is your
Right
turn.
below the two vampires. Yes. So with Ice Knife, would I have a disadvantage on that for being where I am?
Is it a ranged spell?
Yes.
Yes, you would have disadvantage.
All right. I'll use poison spray. I'm not gonna risk the disengage and the attack opportunity.
Okay.
Um.
Wow. I was doing the poltergeist turn in the background while you did this to save time, and
And it
damn.
rolled very well.
Roll the 20 again.
Yeah, he did.
Nice.
So we just did a level 1 poison spray.
Mhm.
Boom, 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 boom. Worst luck with saving throws. That's okay. I have a bonus action, so I'm good.
Okay. And the reason I did it is because I wanted to go to the bathroom at the end of the round. I am going to call a quick break and go to the bathroom. But
Alright.
yes, the poltergeists, the rogue poltergeist rolled a natural 20 again, and the fighter poltergeist rolled a 19.
Nice.
I'll be right back.
So check this out.
Butler, I got a new tattoo.
What's up?
I got a new tattoo.
Oh, did you?
I did.
What'd you get?
I'll show you. Got a little heart. It's actually not that little.
I don't really need to follow along. So yeah, get behind. I'm about to do. I gotta get. Oh, can I see you right now, Magnus?
No, the other doors.
That other door.
I'm wondering. I'm definitely wondering.
I think it's open because that other vampire guy.
Yeah, I opened up. No, yeah, somebody opened the door and I knocked.
You're about to get a blast of loving kindness. Then
I really need it.
your 30 hit points are coming your way,
I got you.
and then I've got 10 left over. I was gonna give to our NPC, but I can't see her. The one next to you. So Moss, I'll probably throw those at you. You're okay, right? You haven't taken any damage, really.
Mhm. And then it's 7 since we started.
Okay. Yeah, I can heal kit you on the turn after that. All right. Yeah. Oh, actually, 30. Make that 32
32.
hit points coming your way, Magnus. I just read today that I have this neat thing I've had since second level, where anytime I cast a heal on anyone, they get an additional 2.
Yeah, I think that's something they get with what's his name too. They didn't.
Oh, wait. When we get back to Mantalon, the moment you step foot in that forest,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna feel the love. It won't be as powerful as if the forest weren't dead, but it's holy land to the Sylvanesti, so any elf gets a huge bump. So you're gonna feel more like Jesus.
More like Jesus.
And then immediately angry because of what has happened to your homeland. and who is currently inhabiting it.
It's true. Huh, I made it funny.
Hello, sorry about that. Oh my goodness. All the vampire spawns. Vampire spawn 1 is starting her turn in the Moonbeam. Oh, and in the Spiritual Guardians.
And Vampire 1 did not take it in the wrong time, so that was 5.
Oh wait. Oh no, I'm sorry. Is this vampire spawn that just went? Because they need to make a wisdom saving
Yes,
throw for
she-
their
Yep,
power.
that's what he was,
Yes,
he was saying.
spawn 1 is starting its turn and needs to take some damage.
Did it fail or save?
I don't know. Did you throw it?
Oh, okay. I just hit cast on it. Is that
I-
usually? All right, sorry.
No problem. Oh, that's a fail.
All right, now you get your radiant love damage.
Get your radiant love.
Every little bit helps.
You're not wrong.
Pretty much trapped. Just gonna make a roll on Moss. That's a hit. Looks like you made your concentration set.
Yes. Yeah, put the effect on so it can do it auto.
Another roll on Moss.
I dropped a 1 there.
Another hit. That time it went.
Ooh,
Oh,
geez.
I'm gonna die soon.
Huh. This is the moment. Yep. Claw, claw. Oh, are we at oh, you're rolling with advantage, and so are they. Claw. It's another hit. Just. Uh-oh.
Oh, I died.
And that last claw went right across your
Hang
neck,
on,
and you
no,
went
no,
down.
no, no. You gotta tell me you hit me. Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm definitely shielding.
Shield, yeah.
Save the reaction for
All right, we'll get you that back.
20.
Died by 2, 9, 7, 14. You have still 14 hit points. Sorry. Right, yeah, your shield pops up and blocks all that.
Ooh.
It doesn't heal me.
I did.
Well, you've only got 14 damage right now.
Yeah, you. Oh.
No, I have more than that. I was right.
It's the other way. 46 damage. You have 14 left.
Yep.
Then yes.
This one is going to disengage and head over to
You
here.
just have to live to my next turn, brother.
Climbing down the wall over here. This one
I had a plan.
takes off.
If I can get out this door, Daddy's coming.
And we've got attacks on the poltergeist, which are hitting. Poltergeist is only taking half of that because it's a ghost. But it might be enough. Yeah, she wipes that poltergeist.
Oh.
So only the rogue survivor has survived so far.
Number 5,
Surprise.
say hello to my family. Failure.
Failed.
Radiant damage. Bam.
Bam.
And can you add 3 HP to that vampire, Chris?
What am I doing?
You're adding 3 HP to that vampire from the moonbeam that it didn't get hit by.
And
I think it was 3.
she is going to try to grab the moss.
4.
What does 4 mean?
That was the correct number. I was wrong. I just scrolled up and found it.
She's going to grab you and missed. Closet moss again. That one's a hit. Boop. And
I have 4 wounds left, or 4 hit points left. And then is my hit points accurate with my new con or no?
that is your job.
Okay.
Okay, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I need to know that, boss. Whether or not you need healing here. Oh, you do. Oh, jeez.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm just
there's a
trying to
lot of-
figure out how much help I'm supposed to have
Oh,
and
that
if it's
rolled
the right
over at
amount.
the last second. Goes to Claude the werewolf. And then tries to Claude the werewolf again because she just doesn't learn. Gabriel, I'm sorry, Magnus, you're seeing it every time the vampire spawn claws into the werewolf. Her skin's torn and then heals right back up.
Thank God for Stella.
It's just pissing her off. And then there's clawing going back. This part's a little more somatic than anything else. We go claws back and forth, but the marks on the vampire remain because she is not immune to Stella's claws. So there's some back and forth. Zezerin, I would love to see what you're gonna do. I got no idea.
Alright. So I'm going to vomit an acid splash on the 2 vampires in front of me.
Still,
And that's control.
still focusing on that wall of fire, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're going to attempt to save. They both fail and take this damage.
They
Alright.
take more every round, or is it just
No, it's just the one. Alright. I'm going to lose concentration on the fire. No action required.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to move here and Misty Step myself over here as a bonus action. That's a straight shot that I can
Well,
see.
the
right?
magic circle's still there.
And
No, I was talking to Chris.
Oh yeah, the magic stir. Okay, if yeah, I was using that as the wall of fire.
Why did you drop constant? Just out of curiosity.
why did I lose concentration?
Yeah.
Because I might need to concentrate on something else later.
Okay. I didn't know if you needed
So you
to do
misty
that.
stepped over there, and then you're gonna what?
That's it. So I vomited acid. I moved 5 and Misty stepped a straight shot to that corner.
Okay.
And that's me.
Magnus.
Gabe, why didn't you heal me?
It hasn't been my turn yet.
It should have been.
Nope, I'm after Casimir. So I'm in 2 rounds, or two more action or turns.
You do have your second wind, which is impressive, but not.
Yeah. On my last turn, I just opened the door and saw what was happening. That was.
All right. Well, because I have a plan of action, and I really need that because there's things going to completely Magnus this.
You know, you could fight your way to me. We're a lot safer.
Actually,
than that
that's
room.
not what's going to end up happening, but good luck catching up with me.
But no, if
Oh,
we
no.
bottleneck them in the library, they have to come in through one door.
All right, so this is what I want to do, and this is how I guess this is going to play out. So I'm going to immediately shield charge spawn 2.
Okay.
Oh no.
You know what's going to happen. You can't help
We're
it.
just right over the banister.
All right, we're going over the banister because that other one disappeared, and I don't happenstance. I'm going to look for the most damage on the strongest target and go. It's next to me.
Okay.
Because those 2 are damaged in there, and they're looking pretty good. And he's got to heal him anyway. And then he might be able to get to me. There's an open path. Um. Skill 18.
You're 24 to her 19.
All right, so I'm knocking her over the banner.
You move her the 5 feet. She gets a dex save for that.
I'm going to take an action to jump,
What are you gonna land on her?
and I'm going to take an action to swing with advantage.
Okay. You're gonna want to make. Well, here's what's happening. You smash her over the side. She makes and she goes for an acrobatics parkour move. Now, vampires can spider climb, so
Right.
if she hits the wall, she connects to it.
Okay. I'm a
But you're
vampire
going
hunter.
over,
Well,
as I
no,
understand it.
I'm taking an action. I'm taking an action to judge the jump to
Okay.
go down.
Okay. She's 5 feet down, connected to the amber sheer wall. And as you look over the banister, you can see the other one too. He is almost to the ground, but he is also coming down the wall. But you know, this his head's facing down as he crawls down the wall. Her head's facing up, looking at you as she's just positioned.
He's
herself on the
crawling
wall.
down, though.
Yeah, so he's butt up, almost to the floor, and she's 5 feet away from the banister, onto the wall.
All right. So then I will pause, and I don't know if I can do this because I took it. Well, no, I took a bonus action because I'm at the point where I would take an action. So yes, I'm going to cast a spell.
Okay, and you do have your movement to position yourself wherever you need to. You got your full movement still, so.
Yeah, I'm good where I'm at.
Okay.
I guess because they have to keep things at bay, and he might actually still be able to see. Well, I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
I did not see that coming. Okay.
And that is 15-foot square from up to 60 feet away. I'm going to place it right there. Where's the sword?
Oh, I want to give it to you, but they don't know.
Oh, because that was my thing. He
I
bailed,
know.
and you said there was shit down there,
Yeah.
and I
As
asked
you-
them before.
As you look over the banister, you see there. I don't know. Well, basically everybody who looked over originally saw the 6 crates down there. Now they're all broken open and there's dirt on the floor.
Okay, so they were copies.
Yeah. Meta, they were teleported in little with the blue flash that I mentioned before, and they've only been here for like like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, I want to give you that, but they just don't fucking know. It is somewhere in the Amber Temple, and as your question echoes, it echoes beyond the 15-foot square and kind of like bounces off the amber walls a bit. And as you look down there, there's these big amber sarcophagus-looking stones that start to vibrate, and you see a little black inside them, like they long to answer your questions. But and one of them is currently, like, you didn't realize it, but you cast your Zone of Truth around one of these amber sarcophaguses a little bit, so that one is really trying to, like, there's like a wave inside it, like when you see cloudy air in an ice cube, or some kind of a black oily mist is inside this amber sarcophagus that you're looking at as it glimmers, and you get the sense that it really wants to answer your question, but it doesn't have a fucking mouth. So neither one of them have his sword, and as they look up, they go, "What?" And that's all you really get out of them. They're completely affected by your Zone of Truth, but they don't know the answer to your question.
Yeah.
You know who did answer your question? There was a lich that. Never mind.
I don't want to go there. I said it like 3 times.
I know, right?
No, we had
We were here. No, you literally dove 100% into the squirrel. Every one of you. Right into the squirrel. There's stuff there you might like, or you can ask the guy the question.
But in order to ask the guy the question, we have to restore his memory of how
He
powerful
was charmed
pretty
and started to
dangerous.
remember stuff. They
and how
should do
evil.
the same.
No, I got to be honest. I don't even know why that charm worked on him. I think it had something to do with the amnesia.
At this point, during this moment where everyone's just looking at each other and you guys can hear the underlying dialogue, but no one's really saying anything, the secret door over here does open and close, just if it matters.
What door?
The one, I'm sorry, the one over here by the, there was the big stairs coming up. That secret door over there opens and closes.
Someone left or came in. All right.
Oh, the Meiji guy.
And that brings us to Casimir, who is really hurting. And he just he walks over to you and like you go, "What sword?"
Oh Jesus.
And that's his turn. Did you want me to hit those guys or?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Okay.
He just looks down there and just fireballs fireballs down there.
I like that.
We got some 14 deck saves going on. That's a failure. And that is a success. So we're seeing he just blows the whole chamber for 19. Wow, I can't roll damage for shit. Good thing you guys are rolling the real damage today. We're gonna go 46, and you finally get tagged here. And that's his turn. Because that's the safest place to cast Fireball without hurting everybody. Gabriel.
All right, so using Preserve Life, I have 40 hit points to give away. I can give people up to half of their total. So 30 hit points are going to Magnus. 10 hit points are going to Moss.
Okay.
Then as a bonus action, I'm going to use my Healing Light, which is one of my new abilities as a Warlock.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give both of the 2d6 heals, both of the dice to Moss. So an additional 2d6 there. 7 more points.
Sweet.
+2. Right?
Thank you.
And that is my...
Gabriel, is there any chance you could take a step back as well?
Yeah, you can tell me. Oh, no, provoke an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
You were talking about your bonus feat, Steve.
Huh?
The +2 to when you
Oh,
cast?
yeah, it only works for spells, and these are abilities, so...
Oh, okay.
All right. But you're green again, which is a good thing to see.
It is.
Oh, you're not wrong.
All right.
I also had a little more max HP than was on my card at the time.
Oh,
All right.
is the charmer still there?
Moss, I think it's your turn.
It is. Let me know if what I'm picturing isn't going to be feasible. I'm picturing a thunder wave kind of being funneled in this room, hitting those two. Would that be able to be done without hitting Gabriel?
Yeah, you can move that around so it doesn't hit Gabriel.
And
And
if
we're
you
gonna hit the 2 vampires there with a thunder wave.
Okay.
We're not gonna bump it up. Actually, we will. We're gonna go level 2.
Okay.
So. Saving a failure, and
you have lightning bolt.
Yes.
and I'm done. Actually, we'll knock Vampire 5 back a little bit as well. Sorry.
Oh, 5 gets pushed back. Okay.
All right.
And
There's no one else.
see
Oh, now-
about
But just so you know, if you were
I
like,
don't believe it. Christian, do you see that?
Did it again? Nice. Nice.
That's not possible.
my God, we have got to make this guy alive and a member of our party.
That is his third natural 20 out of 3.
What happens if you use a greater restoration on a poltergeist?
What the hell? I can't believe it. All right. Yeah, he takes out that vampire spawn and just moves forward a little bit. That's his turn.
This is the real lich over here, this poltergeist.
What the hell? Where's this one? Okay. Starting it.
On one.
Hello, hello. Starting his turn in the spiritual guardians.
Please.
Failed.
Radiant light upon you.
Yes, they haven't been regenerating now, Steven. This is not cool.
Uh-huh. Oh, that was a low roll, but critical.
She's out of good ideas. Run away! 4, 5. Jumps over the side. Stuck to right there.
Right?
She disengaged, but anyone who can attack someone that's disengaged can let me know.
Okay.
I think some of you might have a feat that says even if they're disengaged, you get the attack.
Yeah, that's me.
Yep, that's you. So as she's heading from here and going to jump over the banister to basically pull what these guys are doing on the retreat. Yeah, you can go ahead and take a swing at her as she leaves that square.
Oh, please kill it while it's in midair. That would be such a you slice it in half kind of moment.
So you can take that Oppie when you're ready. Where's this one?
As one of the cast abilities, I think I can cast a spell.
You can.
What?
You can cast a cantrip as long as it's got a target one person kind of thing. You can choose to use a cantrip as an attack of opportunity instead of just casting it. That's true.
Does it have to be a cantrip? I thought it.
No, he can use his weapon too. No, I think it has to be.
Oh, with Warcaster?
I'm thinking Eldritch Knight level 7, not Warcaster. Yeah, Warcaster can be any spell. You're right.
War magic. No.
Not Warcaster.
Warcaster, you can do
Sentinel do
anything.
this? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Warcaster's the one that lets you do
highlighting
it.
that vampire.
That's Warcaster. You're right.
Yep. You can cast a spell.
Can I get a attack opportunity on Vampire 1?
Nope. Unless you have something. You have something that allows you to attack something that disengaged as an opportunity attack.
Oh, it disengaged. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it did disengage. But in a combination of Sentinel feat and Warcaster feat is giving Magnus a unique spot right now.
So Sentinel.
I'm going to cast
matter about
the
disengage.
wind and try and knock it off balance.
You're gonna cast what?
Gust of wind.
It's got to be something that targets the creature. Gust of Wind's area of effect. Or am I wrong? I've been wrong 100 times.
No, I think because I've been able to use like Thunder Wave as an attack of opportunity. I'd use like
your
different
reaction against
stuff.
Spell at the creature rather than making an opportunity attack. The spell must have a casting time of 1 action and must target only that creature. Gust of Wind does not apply. Sorry. You're gonna find most of your spells don't apply. Yeah, I'm looking at them now. Booming Blade, Blade Ward, Lightning Lure, and then that's it.
Yeah, Lightning Lure is the best I got.
Because your sword is one of your better attacks, you've been choosing area of effect spells, which makes sense up until this moment. Like,
Yep. No.
Yep.
You
you do have a badass sword. Just saying.
You're not wrong.
All right. 2.
Hit him with the sword.
Nope.
Nope.
So there they're starting to run away, run away, run away. Some of them are down on the floor by now. This one is going to eat this guy. Gonna try to grapple him. Natural 20, that's a success. And she's gonna bite him. That's a hit. And this bite is going to be a little different as he dies and she gains 16 hit points. Damn it, Casimir! Gulp, yum. She ate a wizard.
That,
And that leaves me with this one. Oh, he's freaking... What's she gonna do? She can start her turn inside of a spiritual guardian.
Yep. Hold on.
And
You are.
can't eat the werewolf. Can't
Hell yeah.
eat the cleric. Can't eat the druid. She's just gonna die.
That's what we're hoping.
Just kill her. Did you damage? Okay, you
That
did.
good armor?
I don't think it got on her because that would have killed her if it did.
How about that?
Yeah, I put it on her. She just does that triangle look and evaporates into the spiritual guardians while she's trying to figure out what the hell to do with her life. She's gone.
Nice.
High five, Gabriel.
And we're close enough to do it. Nice.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
I'm super excited about my next turn.
Awesome.
Stella
I'm
has
excited for you.
high acrobatics check as she just run, dive. Lands on this one and they both to the ground.
Like spears her out of the air.
Yeah, she just jumps over the side and her body weight pulls her off the wall and smashes her to the ground, which causes 9 points of bludgeoning damage to the vampire, and then of course she attacks the shit out of the vampire.
Good job, Stella.
So she doesn't like vampires.
So the vampire is prone at this point.
If it survives, yes. Wow, she still missed. Well, these are supposed to be claws, not bites. Which,
And then, would she have advantage because it's prone or no?
yeah, I'm rolling with advantage now.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gone.
Nice.
She beats it into the ground, and then she gets to the ground just before the other two scurry off the wall, look up, and hey, look, there's a werewolf there. Zezerin?
Go kill stuff.
Alright, Gabriel, if I may pass.
Sure.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Gets me here. I'm going to look at Vampire Spawn 4 and say, ha, looks like your friends have ditched you. And then I'm going to cast a Firebolt at him. And that's a hit.
Thank you, Chris.
Here we go. Well earned.
Alright, and that's me. Plus,
Magnus.
Is this a hero jump moment?
really want to do superhero
Well, if you land on one of them, it'll cushion the fall.
here comes superhero.
I want a bonus action onto that one. Dive and jump with the shield. Trying to be my charge.
Oh, that's cool. You're like diving into it.
Captain America style. Tucking in and the whole nine.
Buzzerin thinks to himself.
All right,
"It's
let's
useful."
see acrobatics or athletics check for the parkour. That's 30 feet down.
Hardcore parkour.
Is he sledding right now?
Nice.
You're trying to land on it.
Yep.
Gonna let it make a dexterity saving throw. Against that, it fails. You land on it.
Splat. Another cloud of necrotic.
The 30 feet is 3d6 bludgeoning, but where does that bludgeoning go? Well, you're gonna grab 5 of it, and it's gonna grab 5 of it.
I like it.
And that was spawn 2, taking 5 more points of damage. This one's not as damaged as I thought it would be. And now you're around it. How did you want this to play out? You landed near it, on it?
On it, so it would either knock back 5 feet or go prone. We'll go with prone.
Yep, we'll go prone. Let me
Prone.
apply that prone condition to... Which one is it? Someone help
The
me out.
one I'm
It's got a number? I'm going to pretend it's 2.
on
And then I'm
two.
going to look, and it's going to be 2. Yes, it's 2. Okay. I ran out of room on my screen.
Okay. And then I'm gonna attack it. I didn't have an advantage. I thought my berserker thing was on it. Yep. And second. Oh, what are you doing here? Please place to Give me some lit. Holy shit. Why is my berserker thing not on?
Let's find out. I was busy with something.
I'm sorry.
She's prone. What are you
Oh,
attacking
so-
her with? Because you're unconscious. Okay, let's get rid of that. All right.
Okay.
You're
I'm
all set.
unconscious.
when your character dropped below 0, after we reset the hit points, I missed the fact that the unconscious condition was on your character, so you were rolling with advantage and disadvantage because Jason Grounds thought you were unconscious. That is my
There we
fault.
go. That's better.
Meanwhile, I have misplaced one of the stones on my screen. Damn it! I need to find it.
There we go.
How did it go?
What's the thing? That's what I should have taken. The thing that made 19s 20. That's the fighting.
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, I'll have to do that the hard way. Trying to get it done before.
Yeah, and that's me.
There. Did we get the Fortitude Stone on your character sheet yet, Pat?
I don't know if it's in my actual inventory yet. No.
Put it in there if it isn't. Okay, just wanted to get that out of the way. Because you guys killed the witch. Magnus, were you done?
Yes, I am.
Oh, it lived?
It did. Damage was a little. The 19th person. At this point, I want to, like I said, I want to think whatever fighting style that was.
Gabriel.
Gabriel runs over to here. Bringing this with him. And I am going to use Spare the Dying on Casimir.
Spare the Dying. Can't remember the last time I saw that in play. What does it do exactly?
Use it. A dying creature gets 0 hit points but isn't dying.
You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. The creature is stable. Does the creature have 0 hit points? Should I allow that? I'm going to go with it. I like it.
Is it technically like negative hit points?
Well, PCs have the whole 0 hit point saving throw things. NPCs usually don't.
Okay.
But I'm allowing it. You're going to cast a spell on him. If he's that important to you, keep him around.
I've never used that cantrip before.
No one's ever used that cantrip before.
All right.
So
All right.
you use your action. You cast Spare the Dying at the last second. You think you just stopped his soul from leaving his body, and you look up and there's the vampire that's still drinking, like And you see her wounds healing because she took herself a little drink of Casimir. Are
Well,
you
we'll see
done?
what happens next turn. Yep.
Moss, it's your turn.
Hi. I'm gonna go and walk over right next to Gabriel,
That makes sense.
and I'm gonna lean over this banister, and I'm gonna shoot an ice knife down at those two vampires.
That makes sense too.
We do still have one up here with us.
Doesn't that like
I'm
hit
aware of that.
everybody near it though? Doesn't ice knife explode?
If I hit the one that's on the right side, it hits one target that's in proximity. So if I hit the right one, it'll hit the left one.
I'm on board with that. There was a moment there that Magnus and the vampire were like really togetherish, but you wait just that second and then you launch it.
Because it's each creature, not just a single creature. For the proximity damage.
Mhm.
Actually, sorry, before I do that, I have to do an attack roll, don't I?
Mhm.
It's my only spell that has an attack roll.
Big. That's it.
Hit. Do you want me to roll again for the save, or do you want me to keep that?
Oh, you can keep that.
Alright. And then he'll take... that. And then let me just double check that I'm correct on this, but I think both him and the other one will take the 2d6. Oh, so he takes that and then... Oh, okay. So the other one has to make that saving throw too. There we go.
Mhm.
Why did Vampire 2 take full?
I'm busy looking at something else. I was trusting you.
Because I rolled for a saving throw, he succeeded, and then still took full.
There we go. Found what I was looking for.
Anyway, the Vampire 2 should have only taken one.
Okay.
Terrible rolls.
You notice that your spell is smashing against one of the amber sarcophagi down there, and just it's doing some damage to it, but it didn't break it.
Okay.
And I was looking at the exact rules for that, and they were illusory. Oh wow! It is Rogue Poltergeist Survivor's turn.
Let's see how many 20s he's going to get.
He missed.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can't keep getting 20s all day. That's just silly.
3 turns in a row would have been a little excessive.
All right, that would have been turn 4
Turn
in
4
a
of
row.
20s?
In a row.
I thought it was only 2 20s. I didn't know 3 in a row.
There was once just before I went into the bathroom. I rolled 2d20 quick just to get their turns.
I
out of the
remember
way.
that one.
And then there was the first one. Then there was that one, and then there was the third turn. It's 3 in a row.
Oh, I must have forgot the first one. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, that would have been 4.
Magnus's vampire is going to try to grab you.
No, you guys got to get up first.
Okay, she gets up. Actually, I don't think she needs to get up first, but we're going to say she does. Goes.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell that's about. Oh, does she have a advantage? Yeah.
What should-
She wouldn't get advantage on that because it's a strength check to grab you. Or does she? I don't know how your reckless thing works, but she got that either way. You need to make an opposed athletics or acrobatics check, or she's going to grab onto you. Your DC is like a 24. Uh-oh, she grabbed you, which means as she bites you, if this is a hit, she can drink your blood. And that was a hit.
Shield.
Does that block it? She's gonna chip her tooth on your shield. Spell slot. This one's gonna come over, and again, your shield is up, but it doesn't. It's just gonna try to claw at you, anyways. So your shield blocks that. Does your shield block a 25? Wow.
Peace.
No, it doesn't block a 25. So, a little
It's
bit
not
of.
a bite.
This is just a claw. This was all claw. She was the one that was trying to bite you to get hit points back. That didn't happen. And who
No,
is?
I understand.
Oh, this vampire is still alive, and it's gonna claw at this poltergeist.
Wait. They're in my circle, so hold on.
Okay, yeah.
They succeeded, so they'll take half of this.
Ouch.
Oh, the
Oh
other
my
ones,
god,
aren't
she's
they?
so close.
Oh, you're out of here.
She is going to roll some claw damage on this guy, but he only takes half of it because of uncanny dodge. That makes it Stella's turn. What is? Oh, that's a 15-foot sphere, isn't it?
I got a question. Wouldn't the guys down in the pit be in the sphere, or
I was just doing the math on that. It's a 15-foot sphere. They're 30 feet down.
Yeah, they're safe.
I was just doing that too.
Oh, got you. Got you. 'Cause
It's a bubble, not a ring.
Bubble, not a ring.
Stella with a miss. Stella with a natural 20. But these two haven't taken radiant damage in a minute. Zezerin, you're up. Cleaning this up.
Right. So I cast another firebolt. Are our vampire friends still up here? That's a natural 20.
There we go.
Uh-oh.
And he is down.
Nice.
Leads by 12.
And then I'm gonna 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to the top of the stairs.
Use the stairs? Who does that?
This guy.
Also, the guy with the negative dexterity will be taking the stairs as well. He's a little worried about trying to climb down.
And that's my turn.
Magnus.
Want to hit shit. And I'm gonna hit shit.
They look pretty messed up.
I'm gonna hit this one.
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna hit you with that. I'm gonna hit you with this one.
No, you're not.
Damn. I'm gonna action surge.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you with this one.
Yes, you are.
Hit you with that.
Yay.
Break the crystal sarcophagus or not? That's the question.
So, I'm gonna share the other map.
Do these vampires have anything on them worth taking?
Nah.
Nah.
There.
We were-
Whoa, Stella, what are you doing?
Oh, it's a big wolf. That's a big wolf. I told Gabriel about the weird acting crystal.
So I shared the other map. You guys looking at the lower floor?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll start to explain the room. Assuming everyone comes down here, even if it's just for the moment.
Yeah.
First, there's the golden marble staircase with the black marble railing. It hugs the north wall as it spirals gently down to 30 feet. Lying in the middle of the room are 6 wooden, rotten coffins or crates, but in this point, they're all broken open and there's earth all over the floor. Gabriel, you're the only one that saw that blue flash before they were there. Before then, they weren't even there.
Yeah. So I just point out that when we were back in Barovia, I think it was, we went into that one room, the vampire spawns were in these types of boxes. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So evidently Strahd drops these little bombs in rooms, teleports them in.
We do what you're talking about.
So anytime we see one of these boxes, know that there's a present inside.
Couldn't be Strahd.
So then there's these 3 amber sarcophagus, and actually, Moss, I owe you an apology. I thought that sarcophagus was a lot closer to your ice knife than it was. I forgot that there
That's
was
okay.
room below. Like, it's showing the outline now of the upstairs and the balcony. So yeah, you didn't hit that. The fireball
Although,
barely touched it.
where are they on the map?
Are you
The
looking at
sarcophagus? The second floor, the
these
basement one.
golden
Oh,
chunks
okay, those
here?
things.
They're actually amber chunks. And as you look at them as you're coming down the stairs, it's like one of the first things you notice is that there's these like dark black ghostly gray moving somethings inside each one of them. Without more investigation, I can't give you more detail on those. There is
Mm.
an obvious damage to the wall, like a natural crack in the wall on that side. Um, so there seems to be another way out of this area besides just the stairs going back up. But Magnus, you're the first one that notices from here under the stairs as it comes around. There's is that where it is? The west, south, east, north wall. Yes, the north wall. There's first the imagery on the walls look like the amber's been chiseled into like these tentacle formations that move towards that back area by the stairs. And then there's this motif. There's this large picture on the wall there. And as everyone starts to come down and look at it, whenever you're looking at it, it looks like it's looking at you. You just got that moment where it seems to follow, and it's a picture of four individuals walking away from a large dune on some raw red sulfurous background, coming up on a stone structure that looks like stone that doesn't really go with the rest of the scenery. And each one of them look like it. They look like an adventure. If you look closely at the picture, you can start to figure them out. But I don't know who actually looks at it closely. But it's hard to ignore. Every time you look at it, it looks like the people in the picture move another step over or back. Or it's weird. It's got a weird reaction to it.
What are we doing? Perception for it, or
You can do perception if you want to. And you can, if you get closer to it, you have advantage on the roll because I want you to get closer to it. I mean, no, that's not a big deal.
oh, great.
But as you get too close, it becomes like you no longer can see the picture clearly unless you're at least 10, like 7 feet back. Uh, Gabriel, you recognize the landscape. You've only read about it and seen some pictures, but nothing this detailed. You think that these individuals are on the first layer of hell. You think has to do with the nine hells, and this could be the first layer because it's got the reddish background here and strange things in the sky that are like meteor celestial objects just plummeting
I don't
down
think
into the surface. Um, you can't you don't know much about the first layer of hell. You don't see anything, but actually they look like adventurers going into an area. But you do recognize, Gabriel. You recognize that just off in the backdrop of the painting being the best term I can come up with. There do seem to be knights maybe kneeling, and then these adventurers are coming up on like there's a straight line to where they're headed, like some kind of a tomb or crypt that they're heading into. Magnus, you recognize like the weaponry on each one of them. One of the adventurers has a big sword and some kind of a shield with some weird face on the front of it. Another one just has these these two swords that are on the side. As he's walking forward, he's not holding them, but those swords are there. One of them looks like a cleric from some long forgotten a religion. You can't. There's no obvious symbol that points that out. Uh, there's a tall, thin tiefling with some kind of a staff. He kind of fits the backdrop because it looks like Avernus and it looks like he's a tiefling, so he kind of fits in hell there. And then there's this one guy in a pirate jacket.
That's where I figured you.
Yeah, that might have been. And he has got an imp on his right shoulder, looking over. And every time you look, the imp seems to be on the other shoulder, maybe. And there's some kind of a large machine behind them, some kind of a mobile machine. Yeah,
With
weird.
teeth. Fuckers. Okay, so when we're done here, we're going in there now.
I was gonna say, what happens if you reach into the painting?
Go ahead.
Okay, that's That's
Now,
another.
Moss, I didn't even see you roll to look at the painting. You're more than welcome to. But when
That's a sensitive awareness.
Might not be a good idea.
the longer you guys get in the way, you realize that it's these chunks of amber, these chunks of amber sarcophagus. They're trying to look at the painting, so don't get in their way. like it's a feeling you get. Like, am I in the way? Is something behind me trying to look?
They feel very living. You're saying almost.
You do get the sense of being watched, no matter where you go in this room or how often you look at the painting. You think you're watching them. It's a whole weird thing there. But yeah, Moss, you didn't make
Gabriel,
a roll
what
at
do you
all.
see? Do you see anything when you look at them? Gabriel?
Steve, you with us?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. What do I see? Well, I share with the party what I recognize about the layers of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was
And-
saying because you have the magic vision.
You think
Oh
the
yeah, that's right. Completely
oh
forgot about
shit.
Yeah,
that.
that's what I was trying to get at.
Remembering that, Moss.
Oh shit! Do you turn that on? Before you turn that on, if you turn that you recognize the knights, the ones that are knelt down. You recognize their banters. They're from a place called El Turl, which is in the Forgotten Realms. It's east of Baldur's Gate. It's some kind of a holy city.
Okay. All right, I share that with the party.
Where's your character? Is your character from the from Faerun? Did we? Yeah, we started with you guys
Yeah.
near Daggerford. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
about Baldur's Gate and El Turl, or El Turl. Does Zezerin look at the painting at all or care?
As soon as combat ended, I started putting up detect magic. It takes 10 minutes to get it going.
Okay. And did you want to use detect magic as well, Gabriel?
Yes.
In this room alone, magic becomes it's complicated to sort it all out. First of all, those stones have magical properties, and some of it's pretty strong. This painting is divination in basically there's divination magic coming off this painting, but it doesn't seem super powerful. It seems more cosmetic. The real problem is the three amber sarcophaguses in the room, which are drawing your attention and are covered in necrotic energy. The more you look at them, the more you realize the weave of magic is feeding into them just slightly. Every once in a while, there's a pulse and a little bit more, but it's not. It doesn't seem to really affect it. It just seems to
Do
draw
I get
it
a
in.
sense these are the Amber Guardians that are protecting the sword kind of deal?
I have no idea. If you is that what you feel? Is that what you feel? That's really a decision. Your detect magic doesn't hint towards that. An insight check might give you something, or a religion check.
All right, I'll do a religion check.
May I also roll for
Oh,
this?
absolutely.
Can I do this with guidance?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Vezerin's got this one.
Yeah. Gabriel, as you get close, as you look at these amber sarcophagus, one of them in particular begins to get your attention, and you just get closer and closer to it, and trying to examine it, and you realize you've taken a few extra steps than you meant to before you snap yourself out of it. You're not even on that map yet, though, so let me fix that. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, you almost get right up on it before you realize that what you've done. Because that's a 13. Zezerin, you are here. And you're familiar with how dark pacts work. Even though you're a sorcerer, you're also, forgive me for saying it, a tiefling. And it's in your blood. And until Wizards of the Coast really stamps out stereotypes, you are coming from some kind of a dark pact. And you sense that these are holding vestiges that would love to give you more power for a price. And
Oh, gee.
you feel it. Like they're just.
All right.
And just at that last second, you do start to hear, "Touch me," which was
Hey.
touch me, but I whispered it. Touch me. And that's the
All
one.
right.
That's the one you're closest to.
Give me
Just
one
kind of.
second. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you take longer.
Nothing I like more than a good mystery. No limits, nothing.
Moss. You walk down and into the area. You're just now catching the painting, and you're welcome to roll against the painting or take a look at these amber pieces. The broken stone, the broken wooden crates, and the dirt on the floor. That part's easy to figure out. Everything else in this room right now is kind of a mystery.
Can I investigate the crack in the wall?
Absolutely. Um, being a druid and understanding natural things already, this looks like a natural earth tremor occurred and forced a crack in the wall that you guys could squeeze through. It heads into another room that you can't see anything in at the moment.
Is there any light being cast from through the cracks or no?
No, there's no light in the room beyond. Assuming there's a room beyond, which now you know there is. So.
In the area beyond, there's no light.
Right.
Um,
And you guys are the only sources of light that are down here, but there's plenty of little individual lights coming off of all of you right now. You guys look like a Christmas tree. There's
well, I just let my
there's a
party
green
know that it
Christmas
looks like we
ornament
have a.
flying around. No, sorry, what was that?
I just make sure the party knows that it looks like we have a pathway through here, but I don't enter without them.
Okay.
I will actually take a step back from it while I'm not going through it in case something decides to come and say hi.
Mhm.
I'll kind of just watch Gabriel mess around with the amber sarcophagi.
Okay.
Not Ander, Gabriel.
Andrew, Gabriel, what's the difference? I mean,
There's pretty big differences, I think.
so Gabriel, you got dangerously close to that, but you didn't touch it. You pull yourself off of touching it just at the last second, and that's when you realize that touching it is going to trigger something.
Okay. I share that with the party.
Mhm.
Oops.
Oops.
Does Magnus do anything of note?
So meta. Um,
Or should we spend a week to think about it? Because it is 1 o'clock.
I could agree.
So next session we get the sword, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, I touched the sarcophagi.
Ah!
You
Okay.
touched all of them? You touched multiple?
What?
It was
It's in
telling.
plural.
The first thing that happens is your eyes kind of go dark for a moment, and then as you as you go to open your eyes, you find yourself just near a fire, like a campfire in a dark area. You can tell that it's like make believe or illusion at this point because this isn't where you were standing a moment ago. Um, and there are just a few trees in the area, and a figure comes out from behind one of the other trees. Now it just looks like a dark shadow with girth, with volume to it. And he mentions. Oh, okay. I'm waiting for Hank to finish up. I am Tenbros, forgotten wizard long ago. I wish to give you the dark gift.
What is this dark gift? Are we talking vampirism?
No, that gift is nearby. That undead is not as powerful as I. And as he starts to come into the moonlight a little bit, and you start to see like a skeletal form around his face. He looks a little bit more like the Grim Reaper than anything else, and mentions, "Lichdom is in your grasp."
Oh, fuck.
How do I obtain lichdom?
And I decapitate Vezran.
You don't know anything that's
No.
going
No,
on.
I know.
I don't know how you say no to this kid.
You stay on your path. Gain power to cast the spells. And once your power grows, you use this. And he's holding out a black scroll. There's actually a little bit of dripping on either side.
Glad it's not flip.
What's that?
I'm glad it's not flip.
I just got that. Ew.
So make an Arcana check to see if Zezerin can put this together.
If we were one more level, it'd be double proficient.
Bam! Metagaming style, if you get to casting level 8 or level 9 spells, you are now qualified. You have the prerequisite to go through the rituals to become a lich, but usually there's a long, drawn-out process, and all sorts of things could go wrong. Apparently, this guy can fast-track the rest of it. You got to get to the level 8, level 9 spell casting on your own, but once you get there, learning how to craft your own phylactery or creating the potion that transforms you to a lich, it's all right here.
Oh, you lucky bastard. I hope you meet Ander.
All right.
Happily take that from your cold dead hand.
Well, my friend, I thank you for the advice, and thank you for the scroll.
He goes to let go of the scroll. So he's over your head and he lets go and you catch it.
I catch it.
Okay. The scroll just the rest of that liquid begins to go around your arm until the whole scroll is just the liquid that now forges around your arm and becomes a part of it. So that arm is a little different, a little darker color than the rest of your body right now.
Okay. So I take it this scroll is now a part of me?
Yeah. So
I take out the imp tail that I've drained of its blood and I say, can you do something with this to me?
So I need you to make a intelligence check. I'm not going to call it a saving throw. Just an intelligence check when you try to do that.
Nope.
You attempt to manifest something that's in the physical world here in this place, and it doesn't manifest. You just weren't able to, and then you realize, oh, I'm not really standing here, so this item's not really here. Like you're looking at your digital self right now.
Okay.
You had to roll higher to make that manifest in this place. So he just what?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can explain it to him. He's standing right there. He just doesn't see what you wanted him to see because it didn't appear.
You had this scroll become a part of me, and I had this imp's tail that might have some special properties to it, and I was wondering if you might know of a way that it could also become a part of me, and maybe I could gain some of those properties.
Yes.
How?
I know of a way.
Pray tell.
He seems to pull another scroll because apparently scrolls is his thing. This is a much smaller scroll. Learn and cast this.
And this is as I hold my hand out.
Oh, he goes to put it in your hand. It's another scroll. This one's more like paper. It doesn't dissolve or anything into your hand. And as you look at it, in this place, it just looks like a gray piece of paper that's rolled up into a scroll. There's nothing really written on it.
But when I go back, I'll still have it.
He nods.
Excellent. Once again, thank you, my friend. What was your name again?
So it echoes throughout this whole place. Tenebros. And that echoes a few more times, and then you pull your hand out and you pull out of this area. When you look at the amber, which your surroundings are pretty much where they were where you left off, except when you look at the amber piece, there's the waving black piece that was in there, pulls back further, and fades away, and now it's just an amber sarcophagus there. Could you make a charisma saving throw for me, please?
A charisma saving throw?
Mhm. When you look at your offhand, the other scroll, it's just the spell find familiar.
Okay.
Nice. So you can actually get an imp as a familiar.
But would it be my imp?
When
Yeah.
when you cast find familiar, it works a little differently than what an imp just following you around. Yeah.
All right.
Because it's the weave of magic taking the form of you.
So Strahd couldn't use this imp against me.
No. Nice. A lich with an imp familiar. A match made in heaven. Or hell. All right. So are we going to take a long rest?
I don't know. It is a lot colder.
My thumbs look a little beat up.
So-
It is already a lot colder down here than it is up in the library. By the way.
Say we rest in the library.
I was just
Hang
gonna,
on. I found a scroll.
in his hands the wrong color. And actually, in those moments, does anyone else do any of this, like touching a sarcophagus kind of thing?
What
Not
does the sarcophagus call out to me at all?
It does now.
oh shit.
Is it basically saying the same things, power and...
I don't know. Which one are you close to when you ask that question?
I'm the one next to the one that Gabriel's by, the one on the right-hand side.
Okay. Give me a second to scroll up and down and around until I figure out what the hell I'm looking at. Gotcha. When you look at this one, it looks more like there's a black void in the center of it that's pulsing, and you're realizing that each one of these has a different phase or shade going on inside the amber.
Almost like a different type of energy.
Your helmet telepathy makes it easier for you to connect, and it introduces himself as Zundan the Corpse Star.
The corpse what?
The Corpse Star.
Corpse star.
Well,
Well, that's just interesting. I'd like to have a conversation with him.
I would too.
All right, I'll high-five the rock.
Appreciate it.
So as he touches it, I give this look.
The
As if
fuck?
to say, which part of don't touch them didn't you get?
No. Put it where it belongs, Steve. And say the words.
Fucking
There you go. There we are.
I needed to have one. I needed one Moss moment today, like something.
As you go and touch this stone, you feel your entire essence being sucked into it. And when you're you're standing on a rock face. It's almost like imagine like the moon, but it's small enough where you can actually see it roll over, like maybe a small meteor or comet.
Like I can see the curvature of it.
Yeah.
Of the surface.
And then there's still the holes and indentations around. There's no life on this rock piece that is moving through the celestial object or space, if you will. But it's you
As
don't.
circle of the moon, could I tell if it is a moon or if it is an asteroid?
You think it's
Anything
more
like
of
that?
you think it's more of an asteroid than a moon.
Okay.
If it's even you also don't think it's real, but hey.
Fair. Okay.
Because as you're going, you can still breathe, even though there shouldn't be atmosphere here. And as it's moving, and you can see stars slowly moving in the other direction, you're also not feeling any of that momentum. And from the ground up comes something, and it just floats in front of you. It's just a black circle with these spikes coming off of it. It looks like an asterisk, and it's just pulsing.
I will attempt to use my helmet to connect my thought.
Excellent. Cool. Well, in that case, it knows your name. Welcome,
Well,
Moss.
they can't cut your head off if it explodes. I'll give you that.
Welcome, Moss.
Welcome, Corpse Star. Or not
I
welcome.
am
I'm
the
glad to be
long
here, Corpse Star.
forgotten Zundar the Corpse Star. I offer you the gift to raise the dead. Bring back who you will, no matter how long they've been gone.
What kind of changes would happen to them?
Yeah, you don't get an answer to that question. That's too easy. But you can make an Arcana check when he offers you the gift, and as you say that out loud, something triggers in your mind that you might be able to figure out. 5.
Not with that roll.
No, maybe. Um,
Oh,
you vaguely recall that any of those clerical raised dead things, usually they can only be dead for so long. And he just said bring something back that's been long gone.
so this is
Like
right off the bat seeming like it is not a clerical and holy revival.
you don't nothing about this says holy. Nothing. There's no. Um. So yeah,
Well,
bringing back
unfortunately,
ancient dead or anything you want that's ancient dead seems a little over the top. Like you could bring back an ancient god. It's
Way to get Ander into Ravenloft.
what I don't feel like you understand is death is a natural process. Death is what makes everything meaningful. So if we take that meaning, what are we?
Ooh, make an intelligence saving throw. Moss, you get bombarded with this forceful knowledge entry into your mind. For just a moment, you see the outer planes moving in the clockwise direction that they were meant to move in. You see the upper planes, Mount Celestia, Siri. You see the lower planes, Avernus, Abyss, and you see them moving in a way that there's these things heading towards them, these little lights. Some of them are completely bright and white, and they head for the upper ones. Some of them are darker or dim, and they start heading for the lower ones. And you see each one of them heading towards their own little areas. You completely understand in just this moment that it's all about where they're going. They were alive, and now these are these souls that are forcefully being pushed towards these areas in the upper planes where they belong, whether it's the upper planes or the lower planes. I'm sorry, I meant to say the outer planes. You also see that some of them start heading in the other direction, where most of them are heading towards the planes. Some of them, every once in a while, get pulled back and taken away. And one in particular, you follow it, and it comes back with you until it goes into this area where it calls through this strange magical force, this field that it penetrates through and goes into this weird pinkish purpley glue gas or stuff. There are these ships floating around in these gas, and a large nautiloid floats by as it sinks down back into the mortal plane. And then that one little dot spears right into you, and you realize that that's how souls work. So most souls, when
So did I just
someone
have like the glimpse of a god almost?
you had the glimpse of the celestial engine moving. What happens when a soul dies, how it gets to the planes, or how it comes back if a spell is cast that can pull it back. So
Am I,
you're
I guess like the greater judgment of like they're good versus bad, and
but
that's
in
an
the
awesome
very
cinematic.
in the very beginning of the cinematic, you saw the outer planes being formed, and then you saw the material planes coming to in the middle, and your definition of natural has somewhat changed because
So it's
nature
almost
was
like
created by the gods and can be taken and changed and moved, and your definition of natural just went.
almost like to compare like Christianity, it's almost like I watched the 7 days of creation almost.
Mhm.
So this just completely changed how I feel as a druid.
It might. This moment, you could either hang on to it or let it pass. But at that instant, when you said the natural course is blah blah blah, he showed you the actual natural course, which kind of was in conflict of what you may have thought the natural course was.
So the natural force is bigger than any of us could ever imagine.
If that's what you take away from it,
Well, I'm asking that to the being.
um, okay. If you're gonna ask that to him, this black star looking thing that was just pulsing, kind of comes back in on itself as it pulls its great knowledge back, so it doesn't destroy you. And mentions, yeah, that's all you get.
Now, if you were to bestow me with this power, is there a goal you have? Is there an agenda you have? Something you would want to accomplish with it, or am I free to do so as I will?
I don't take your will. I want to be remembered. And I know that's not the same accent I was using like 5 seconds ago. I'm sorry about that.
Yep. I'm
We
gonna start
all
transcending into
want
celestial
to
life.
be remembered.
All right, so we can control the weather. We can start controlling life and death now. I think I'm gonna take him up on this offer with this
Okay.
newfound knowledge. Because, like, I honestly felt like, as Moss being a druid, that he wouldn't want to play with fate in that way. But
Okay. So if you hang on
Moss
to
kind of
this,
just got hit by he doesn't know shit.
if you hang on to this lesson and you pull away from it and you accept this dark gift, which I think you just did. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. There's another pulse that comes from this corpse star, and it pushes you away and back into yourself, out of the amber sarcophagus, and pushes you forward-ish. Gabriel,
Yeah.
Moss, could you make a charisma saving throw? And Gabriel, we need to talk.
Does it have to be charisma?
Mm-hmm.
I got negative charisma.
Am I about to give Magnus the
That's
sad
not
look?
So as a reaction, well, no, 18 it should be all right. Yeah.
He's good.
Hope.
He's good. He's good. Um, there was a moment where you saw this a white light come from Moss and enter the stone for just a second, and then it was pushed back into Moss. You saw this exchange, and during this exchange, Moss changed. His
I know
his
what happened.
his arms started to shrivel first, and then up the shoulder to the chest, around the neck. You watched him age rapidly until he started to take on a ghoul-like appearance. And it wasn't until he pulled completely back off that he now appears as one of the undead. He's all shriveled up, and he's got this, like, even the leaves around him are now, like, they look like rusty and fall leaves. His hair has all turned grayish white if it hasn't fallen out, and he's taken on this corpse-like appearance that you can't, it doesn't smell yet, but you're thinking it might soon. You might want to take a 5-foot step back.
Did
What if I pop a greater restoration on it?
somebody forget to water Moss?
How are my spirit guardians reacting?
Are you attacking your party members with your spirit guardians right now?
No, but I mean, is he someone that's no longer a member of my party?
No, that's not the case. Moss, you still feel, you don't feel like you've aged, but as
So
you
I don't even realize this. Like, I'm just confused at why everyone's looking at me with big bug eyes right
actually, as you start to look down at your hands and stuff, you also see the same areas, which is you've taken on a undead corpse-like appearance.
So I move
now.
over.
Like the elongated fingernails and the really skinny fingers and all that kind of stuff. And
Yep.
I move over by Magnus and I say, "What is that?" God damn it! We said don't touch the. Did you touch that?
I have a
It-
find familiar
Oh,
now.
for Christ's sake! for Lathander's sake. Moss, what just happened to you?
I've transcended.
Right?
You've become undead. You look like a ghoul.
These are just details. You're missing the big picture here. I transcended, man. I'm powerful.
This is the big picture. I'm giving you an inspiration point for that.
I look at Magnus not with the look, but with a look of what do we do with this? Input.
They don't have like any old pets they'd love to see or anything like that. Like a nice, a good old puppy or something.
Now, or are you just being vague intentionally? Do you tell us like what happened?
I have the feeling right now that I can play with life a little bit. I have some control over the balance of life and death.
And what do you do?
What?
What do you do?
You touched it.
Oh,
There's some
so I have this dark arm now, and I gained Find Familiar in a scroll.
any idea what that dark arm might symbolize?
It's just my curse. My arm is weaker.
So you're lying to us also. All right.
So, Gabriel Magnus, do you have any interest in touching that third stone?
So
Can the mage hand give the middle finger?
It can.
It does.
Because if
I know
not,
there's little
hey Stella,
presents inside of these boxes.
As you look over into that direction, Stella's already touching it.
Oh, for
yes.
Now,
We're going to shoot the wall of 3 stones because there's 3 things standing in front of us, and we have it.
But this is in this moment, Stella pulls her hand back, and she's just folding her arms like, nope, nuh-uh, no way, no. I like being a
What
werewolf.
bargain did you get, Stella?
I didn't. Damn thing wanted me to be a vampire. I'm a werewolf.
So what are you two now?
I don't know what I am.
I'm just me right now.
It did say that if I change my mind, I could come back, or there's other areas in this temple that I could find additional dark gifts if I should shop around or something. I don't know.
She says the words dark gifts.
Yes.
So we literally just got like a deal with the Devil Shop going right now.
Find familiar is not a dark gift.
I can only summon imps.
Do you show
Magnus-
Do you show him the scroll?
Oh, well, I show him the Find Familiar scroll.
Sure. Okay.
I'm sure he sees my black arm. Roll persuasion.
Oh my God, Chris.
What?
I was just running through my head of like, who could I bring back? I could bring back Strahd's girl.
Do you know where she is?
Well, she drowned in the pool.
That's what I need you to believe when you decide to do that. Yes. Those of us that have been watching this movie, like
Information, keep the bed back, dude.
another
So
way of
crap.
wording that is she went into a celestial pool of light and was able to escape Barovia with her love. But you could say that she
That's
drowned
right.
in a
That's
pool, and you should force her to return to Barovia through your dark gift. That is acceptable. I accept that.
So, Chris,
Yes.
since this is a scroll of Find Familiar, do I only get the one-time use out of it?
You could learn the spell if you take the time to learn it, and then you'll know it.
Also, you can copy scrolls. I was
Well,
seeing.
those are wizard's rules, but in this case, because of this particular
Okay.
circumstance, that when you cast it, you're just gonna learn it.
Okay. So I don't know it yet.
No, it's in your hand. And Gabriel, the scroll he's pointing at, he says it's a Find Familiar scroll. What could go wrong? You look at it, and it's this black paper with this red ribbon on it, and it kind of matches the color of his new arm. Just saying.
So when I said I didn't know how our other party was surviving because of its makeup, did you take that as a challenge?
I didn't write either this module or that module. Yes, I did take that as a challenge. Yes.
So she walked away from a deal. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I cast Zone of Truth on the area around the crystal and touch the crystal, can I get some information?
You could definitely try.
Stone of Truth are party members?
No, the crystal itself.
You're going to touch me now too?
It had some effect when I casted it down here before. It started trying to talk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I'm going to cast that around here, spend the spell slot,
Okay.
and I'm going to touch the crystal.
Okay.
What's its spiel in its offer?
I'm looking for his name. Is that really his name? Vampire is his name, really?
Well, if he's the true first, then
Yeah, this is
you need-
so you cast Zone of Truth, and I need you to make an Arcana check as you touch the amber sarcophagus. You can feel the zone of truth still working. You can continue to concentrate on it as you it's like you just pushed open like a veil or a curtain,
Right.
and you sorry,
I said right.
and you walk in this room it's dimly lit with red tapestries, and like there's this red curtain piece here and the light's coming through it, so it's making even the whole room like an ambience. And a attractive woman comes out from the other side, the long leather boots, the use your imagination, I'm not getting into that. And she bares her fangs and mentions, is immortality on your plate?
What do you offer?
No.
In this land, there is one other who has accepted my offer. Have you seen a real vampire before?
I'm taking note. Strahd, maybe.
Strahd is a real vampire. There have been spawns and lesser vampires that have come from him, but I offer you the truth. If you're interested in real power, real immortality, only a few things on your end, and you will live forever.
There has to be a dialogue going.
Good.
What do you know about the sword?
That's a good question. I don't know much about the world of men.
This is
Really?
something that would be able to kill me. It doesn't make me all powerful and immortal. Strahd feels the sword.
You just killed
I don't think there's anything Strahd fears.
He doesn't fear anything?
He's not smart enough to. And she goes and grabs a small glass. There's a red liquid in it.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts to drink it. Strahd doesn't
Steve, I'm
fear.
seeing a whole lot of stress coming from your
He's
camera.
way too confident for that emotion. Doesn't mean he doesn't have reason to. He just doesn't get around to it. Do I want to know? I don't want to know.
Who posted that?
There's just so much stress that I'm seeing through his camera right now.
Whose camera? What?
Steve's just been looking at the ceiling for the past 15 minutes.
You should look at it, Chris. It's very funny.
Is it on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Steven. Fuck kids. So she mentions there's a price. Giving up life for everlasting death is not an easy task. But the power can be yours. Only this way would you be able to. I'm trying not to lie because there's a zone of truth. So she says, only this way can you become Strahd's equal. Is how she words it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to wield the blade then.
You may find the price too high. You'd have to find someone who loves you and drink from them.
This is rough. Yeah, nope. Hard pass.
I don't blame you. It is a hard gift to accept.
Now where's the sword? Damn
You get the feeling that this dark, forgotten god has no idea what you're talking about. Like this is like and without an insight check at this moment, as you start to just wander away, like you're gonna say no, you get the feeling that this is her prison. This is where she can't leave, and only by bringing people into her fly trap does she have a chance at nourishment. And you get that feeling as you pull away. And then
it.
do you completely pull? Is that like a no, or are you still thinking about it?
No, I'm done.
All right, and at that point, you come back out and you find yourself just taking the hand slowly off of the amber sarcophagus there, and there's no fear, there's no or shiver or any of that. You just walk away. There was nothing holding you there once you decided to leave, and and you deduce through the insight that it's because you had the strength to walk away. She didn't have the strength to keep you there. That she's stuck in there, and only when someone wants to go in can they go in. So. These are the prisons.
No vampire for you, Magnus. That's boring.
That's a rough one to take. You have to literally kill someone you love.
Right.
Which
Well, I mean, I could've made
if
your
I was to
mom,
do
like-
the math, I'm thinking Gabriel's the only one that counts right now.
I was
Right,
gonna say
you're not
I could bring
wrong.
like Magnus's mom back from the dead or something.
Oh, you mean Zezarin's mom?
No, Magnus. I could bring like Magnus's mom or someone back, something like that that he loves. Make you drink your mom's blood or something.
No, I don't have anybody left, and I have all my personality traits say I can't do it. Like pretty much all my personality traits.
Okay.
My backstory, the whole nine.
Now I've got interesting news. This is 3 of many sarcophagus that are in the Amber Temple. We'll see what happens next week.
Okay.
Somewhere in the Amber Temple, the Sun Sword is lying, waiting for the party to discover.
These are all prisons.
Yeah, those are
It's my-
those are dark
my question
forces.
more-
Go ahead.
My
Right.
question more to the party is these powerful beings got stuck. So how do we maybe make that happen for Strahd? Is a last case scenario or a alternative scenario? I don't know what in the Amber or about the Amber does it, but maybe there's an open sarcophagus.
I don't know. You might be onto something, Magnus. Who knows? It's magic I do not know about.
Well, I'm about ready to wrap it up. Last thing I want to mention is as the party tries to just regain some level of sanity after the craziness that just happened, you all look over at the tapestry on the wall, the large painting on the wall, and you no longer see the heroes. What you see is this large horse in this huge death knight coming off the horse and walking down into the tomb. Okay, that's where we'll stop.
Yay.